Good morning, pop culture. We are live. So, folks, strap in because we got a big show this morning. So, as you know, we always wait till we hit our number 200th viewer, and then we start to read the main topic for today. So, good morning to everyone that's watching in the chat. Good morning to everyone on YouTube, unless it's the afternoon, because this show puts the world in world-class bullshitters. So, look at the screen. That's what we're going to be talking about, as well as a myriad of other topics. You guys can always dictate that. So, there we go. Big show, eh? Awesome. Yeah, it's the big show. It's a big, bad show tonight. I hope that's a wrestling reference you guys understand. We got Blippity Blop in the chat this morning. Folks, if you'd like to hear me discuss Star Wars and sometimes Star Wars toys, make sure you check out the Deplorable Bat Cave. It's a good channel with a good group of dudes, and we got into some deep cuts in terms of Star Wars and entertainment. So I strongly suggest you guys subscribe to the channel and watch their content. You won't be disappointed. Good morning to you, other Jeff, a.k.a. Jeff the Iron Wolf. Hello, Rowdy Ruffian. Good morning to you, too. People are talking about X-Men MCU hype. Well, John Feliciano, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about all that stuff. Not only are we going to talk about what's actually going on, we're going to armchair book a couple of the MCU Fox crossover films. Well, it won't even be MCU Fox crossover now. It'll be now MCU proper. No problem, Blippity Blop. Yeah, you guys were more than cordial and very kind, so I appreciated it. And if anytime you guys need any help, you let me know. But yeah, remember, we're going to talk about this in two different ways. We're going to talk about the doom and gloom and the negative repercussions to all of entertainment. Then we're also going to spin it. We're going to talk about how it could be good for the MCU as well as other entertainment brands. So don't mistake my calm demeanor this morning for a change in who I am. I'm not going to be all of a sudden excited for this. We'll just take it from both ways. Greetings from Trinidad. Cool. I didn't know. Oh, it's Vim Diesel, not Vin Diesel. It's his brother Vim. Well, thank you. Forsworn King, before we get into the main topic, I'll bring this up again later on, but they'll probably throw money at Hugh Jackman. Have you noticed, timeline-wise, they could insert current Marvel X-Men into the MCU? You could still have Hugh Jackman because that movie of Wolverines takes place, 2029 or something like that, or 2039? So it's in the not-too-distant future, and I don't know the rest of the theme song to Mystery Science Theater 3000, but you could cast him, and if the money was smart, you'd just throw money at him. You know, keep Robert Downey Jr. around. Why? Well, if the movie makes $2 billion and you can pay him this much to keep him around, you know you're going to get your money back. So there we go. Yeah, it is the end of Hollyworld. Good day from Melbourne, Australia. Cool. Justin, I have not heard of any incoming announcement from DC Comics. I pray that it's not there being purchased by Marvel or Disney. I know Warner Brothers owns them, so that'd be really stupid if we see that. Pop culture's not dead yet, Quiet Man. There's still a chance. Well, hello from Tatooine. All right, well, just watch out for the sand people. Greetings from Louisville, Kentucky. Looking forward to your show today. Well, thank you, Comanche Viper. I've been to Louisville. Not a bad place. And you're not too far from me, so I'm looking south right now, and I'm waving to you. You wave back. Thank you. So we're almost to our 200th viewer, and then we'll start talking about the main topic in length, or at great length. Sunny England, huh? Like you said, for once. That's a rare condition, from what I hear. All right, folks. Well, everyone seems to be rolling in. Everyone seems to be loving the morning show. So let's talk about this deal if it didn't want to, probably take me to an ad for Fandango. Excuse me for just one moment. That's what happens when you go to a site like Fandom Wire. You get crap. So, according to Fandom Wire, the U.S. Justice Department approved the Disney-Fox deal. So we are officially on our first step to the end of the world. One of the most intriguing stories in entertainment news has been 21st Century Fox selling most of its assets to the Walt Disney Company. The deal has faced its share of hurdles, most notably Comcast making several counteroffers. Today, one hurdle has been cleared. The United States Justice Department has granted antitrust approval on the condition that Disney sells Fox's 22 regional sports networks. Disney agreed to divest the 22 sports networks in order to get regulatory approval after the Justice Department argued that the company's purchase of Fox regional sports networks could result in higher prices for sports programming on cable. Disney has previously planned to divest Fox's assets that generated $500 million in earnings before interest, tax and depreciation, and amortization. Last week, Disney made an updated offer to $71.3 billion to purchase 21st Century Fox assets, including company movies, television studios, after Comcast bested their initial offer with an all-cash $65 billion bid for the same assets. And again, that comes from Fandom Wire. So as always, I want to know, what are your thoughts? Tell me in the chat right now. For me, I don't like the idea. Like I say on all the shows, Disney having too much power is never good. Competition creates creativity. And who wins with competition? The fans. We all want good entertainment from every walk of life. We don't want to have to appeal to a certain demographic only, or the future, or whatever they think the people that are consuming entertainment like. Go with what the people are. Or where the people are, excuse me. So Disney acquiring the Fox assets scares me, because they're going to hide a lot of your favorite stuff on their soon-to-be world takeover of streaming services, Disney, whatever. Or maybe it's just going to be called Hulu. And if you already have Hulu, well, maybe you won't switch over. I know that I'd probably be guilty of at least keeping it around for a little while. Rowdy Ruffian's mildly pessimistic. I like that. So what is going to come from this? Well, Fox, 20th Century Fox is gone. It's now a 21st Century Fox. And I think the thing that bothers me the most is how happy people are in accepting this deal, because they're going to get the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and the MCU. That's all people are focused on is, oh my God, X-Men. Like, look, I love the X-Men as much as anybody else, more so than a lot of people. I watched the cartoon, read the comics. I've seen every movie in theaters, own most of them on Blu-ray. I didn't like X-Men Evolution or whatever, the next cartoon. But my point is to you guys, I like X-Men. Do I want to see them in the MCU? Yeah, I wish there would have been a thing where Fox could have just sold the rights back to Disney, and then we could have had somebody else or nobody else acquire Fox. Look at the slate of big-budget blockbusters. Usually multiple studios have a certain weekend that they put out their big movie of the year. Well, now that's just another weekend for Disney to hold power over. Now, we've seen what can happen when Disney puts out too many blockbusters in a short period of time. Look at Solo. Solo was a result of many things. First off, fans are pissed about The Last Jedi, and they need to understand that that's not going to change anytime soon. Fans are pissed off about the way we've been treated. Fans are pissed off at the way Star Wars has been treated, so they stayed home. Fans also had other better alternatives like Deadpool 2 and the Avengers Infinity War. So, and one of those was a Disney property. So while one wins, the other loses, I guess at the end of the day, they all win. That's, so is Disney. But that's just more for them to take. Also, have you noticed how Disney Blu-rays are higher priced than regular Blu-rays? So 20th Century Fox, I picked up Predator for like $4 on Blu-ray over Black Friday. I can pick up Die Hard relatively cheap. Fox's catalog is not necessarily the most expensive catalog to consume as a fan. And by the way, Abomino 24601, this does not include Fox News or Fox Sports. This breaks those up completely. So Fox Sports and Fox News are their own thing. They'll be their own entities. Plus, I don't think Disney would be legally allowed to own ESPN as well as Fox Sports 1 and all that shit. That'd be just way too much. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, the library, the back catalog of films. Expect for any Fox movie that you've ever considered purchasing to go up in price. Make sure you guys check out a movie that you want to own now and get it before it's too late. And I don't mean too late as in it'll go away, but it will go up in price. The Disney Vault system may come into play with some of your favorite Fox movies. Maybe Star Wars one day will be considered a Disney Vault type of picture, as well as, I don't know, Die Hard or Predator or Commando. Some of the best Schwarzenegger flicks come from 20th Century Fox. And don't expect to see those properties come out and not feature the Disney way of doing things, aka the Disney agenda, if you will. Those things will be, those kind of politics and ideals will be infused into any future installments of things you enjoy. So if Aliens, first off, the hunky, chunky, funky monkey, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it. It was just a blank £5. And Justin, I'll get to yours in just one moment. But if you thought Aliens was already female friendly, and wait till the next one comes out. It's going to be an all-female cast of Marines. So Justin Vanderwen, thank you very much and good morning. I'm excited about this one and the MCU. Disney doesn't have the power, my friend. We do. Just wait to see what happens when episode 9 comes out. Justin, I definitely agree with you about us having the power. One thing we do not have the power to do is decide where things go. When a big film like episode 9 comes out and we choose to skip it, it's because, we have that kind of power. But we don't have a say in terms of the distribution on the streaming service. It's not like we're going to be able to vote. We don't get to vote what comes to Netflix. It just pops up and then leaves, and we have to live around the Netflix schedule. Disney owning what could be the biggest streaming service in town we face those same problems. On top of that, if you think it's going to be a $12.99 service for the premium version like it is with Hulu, you're mistaken. I'm mistaken. I currently have Hulu Plus, not Hulu Plus, whatever the top tier Hulu is that you can use on 4 screens and HD and all that crap. I have that. Disney stuff is on there. Don't really watch it. But I don't want them to take other stuff that I do watch that comes from Fox and hide it behind a paywall. They already have an HBO paywall, which is great because HBO is what I would consider premium content. But Disney stuff is like everything else. To them, it's not, but it's just another studio. So it's like an overarching media idea to me. Like, oh, it's a Disney movie. That's fine. It belongs anywhere. You see it on TV, this, that, and the there. If it's on Hulu, it should be on basic Hulu. So, but to get more into your super chat, you're excited about this one in the MCU. Well, I was until we get those articles that come out saying how the MCU is majority female, going to be majority female led in the future. Majority is the part that bothers me. I don't mind, like with DC, I don't mind that Wonder Woman is one of the leads of the Justice League. That's just how it is. It's fine. It's not that she's a woman. She deserves it in terms of character lineage, in terms of power in the universe. The women characters that have been in Marvel, I don't think any of them really have the ability to lead. We've seen Black Widow. She's a great team player, and I like her for what she is. Agent 13, she's awesome for what she is, but I don't think they should be leading the Avengers. Captain Marvel, gotta see that one, but Brie Larson, that unlikable, smelly woman, she can stay home for all I care. But I don't think the sudden, if the MCU goes down that path and we are on, in the dark world of the MCU where it's now like Star Wars and we're talked down to and berated by Kevin Feige, talk about the ultimate heel turn in entertainment history. But if we go down that path, no X-Men or Fantastic Four crossover is going to save shit. And now we're going to have more brand dilution with the Spider-Verse over at Sony. So I'm sure you guys have heard about the Venom movie. You've seen the trailer. They have a Silk movie coming out. They have a Morbius movie coming out with Jared Leto, rumored to be Michael Morbius, the living vampire. So be prepared to go back to the old days with some bad Fox or some bad Marvel movies as well as the MCU, or good Marvel movies and bad Marvel movies. So thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. And again, good morning. This is the new dark age of cinema. Blibbity Blop, to answer your question, yeah, Kathleen was on the ropes. She was almost fired, but no one would step up for reasons. Be them they don't want to go against a female in power in Hollywood and be outcast or chastised for their views. For some reason, money is not the driving factor in Hollywood right now, and that should scare you. Because you understand why people do what they do for money. It makes sense. Why did they put Shanghai and Transformers 4 to appeal to the Chinese market? I get it. Maybe it's not for me, but I understand. Why did they do these terrible things to our heroes and want to emasculate all the guys in Star Wars? Not because of money, but for weird ideological reasons. Hey, Grizzly Adams. Good morning to you, too. And do you have a beard? They will use the reality/soul stones, whatever, and end up with a new universe/reality with many female versions of heroes and mutants, and X-Men are a thing in post-Thanos universe. Well, you know what the funny thing is? They can use that, and the only reality they're going to alter is the reality that I don't pay to see these movies. Don't want Ironheart. Don't want Lady Thor. There's a reason that shit failed in the comic books. I'll be the first one to admit if one of these books took the world by storm. The only new female character that has been created by SJW Marvel in the last 10 years that has actually gained traction and popularity is Spider-Gwen. How do I know? Because they make merchandise of Spider-Gwen and people buy it. You don't see America Chavez stuff. You don't see a lot of Squirrel Girl stuff, if anything, yet. I usually follow the Marvel Legends pretty closely, and I haven't seen anything. So if they try to pull some alternate reality shit, it's going to come back to the original one down the road, I'm not going to wait. There's this little thing called the internet, and I can read a spoiler. I've said on record months before any of this news came out, after Infinity War Part 2, I'm kind of done already. Like, it's been 10 years of awesomeness. I know that's really not the right way to phrase it, but it's been the last 10 years in terms of being a Marvel fan at the movies have been excellent. I've been satisfied every time I left the theater. I went from being like crazy moved with the first Avengers and Infinity War to I was really entertained by Thor Ragnarok to I have problems with Spider-Man Homecoming, but it's not as bad as the Amazing Spider-Man 2 type of situation. So I'm okay with walking away from it because we had so many, almost 20 movies, 20 times did we go to the MCU and find enjoyment. And that's okay. I can walk away and I don't need to give them my money. I've seen every MCU movie on opening day, not opening weekend, opening day. And that'll change if Captain Marvel's not up to snuff. Because if Captain Marvel is infused with identity politics, well, gotta see it before I judge it. And I have to see the next Avengers because I care and I've been there the whole time. But after those ones, if I see, the ship starting to sink, I'll be like the rat and I'll be the first one off. So expect that from me. Good morning to you too, Lime Green Hulk, my friend. I'm glad you're here. So there's a lot of people rolling in, guys. So real quick, I usually do this at the top of the hour, but I'm just going to tell you now. The U.S. Justice Department approves the Disney-Fox deal. So it passed the first hurdle of antitrust. So we're on our first step to the end of the world as we know it. Paul McBride, not only did I read Scott Mendelson's report about competition, I'm working on a video. I'm going back to our videos that, almost 1 million people have watched in terms of Kathleen Kennedy content. So I'm going back. I'm writing it. I'm making sure that, I'm always ready to make a video, but the topic has to be ready for me. And the Scott Mendelson post, as always, is just garbage. The man is desperate for attention, and that's what I do. I call him a baby, just like a baby cries out for its mommy. Scott Mendelson cries out and says stupid shit because he wants people to talk about him. In his quest for his ever-falling relevancy to be restored, Scott Mendelson will say stupid shit. Charming Curmudgeon, you think once the reimagining of the MCU happens, it'll be time to walk away from superhero films? Yes, I agree as well. It's been a good run, guys. And the nice thing about the MCU and every other superhero movie that you love, with the exception of maybe Fantastic Four from 1994, you can get them on Blu-ray. I don't know if Dolph Lundgren's Punisher is on Blu-ray, but I think the 1990 Captain America is. My point is, you guys can get them in glorious 1080p, which isn't even that glorious anymore, and you can take those movies home and you can enjoy them the way they were. And if you don't see the new ones, they won't be able to ruin those for you with the next ones. If you never saw Star Wars Episodes 7 and 8, never watch them. Enjoy the original trilogy and never look back or forward, as I say. Hernandez, I said I was going to put up another toy-related video, right? It was requested, and I am going to put it up. It's going to be a lot shorter than normal, but I will put it together. I have, with the show, the morning show, which I love doing, so this isn't a complaint. It takes some time in the morning to get prepared. Plus, I have to go to bed earlier to get up for this. So normally, I'd get up at like 9 o'clock in the morning and roll right out of bed and start working on a video. But now I get up at 6:30, eat something, and get here by 7:45, which is great. Tons of people watch this every day. So I do have a toy video completely filmed. I got to just cut it together and see what I want to say about the topic. Yes, at least the MCU went out with a bang. It's been a good run, guys. It's been a good run. And Hernandez, thanks for checking. I always like when people listen and realize what's going to come and ask me questions about it. So if you guys ever have a question about something I've mentioned on air, just ask me, and I'll give you guys an update, because I don't want to tell you I'm going to do something and not do it. I don't know about the Predator 2 feature on the Blu-ray because I don't own Predator 2 on Blu-ray. I just own the first one, the one that's got the 3D edit as well, the 3D version as well as the regular version. So, Last Jedi. People who love The Last Jedi won't shut up now that Rian Johnson has won a Saturn Award for Best Screenplay. Well, I did not know that. Well, until he wins an Academy Award, or his film does, for something other than special effects, I'm not impressed. Lamp Shadius, if you need Infinity War spoilers, you can either join our Facebook page, or I can say it, but I don't want to ruin it for anybody else, so there you go. Would I ever make a video about Comic Book Cast 2, how they're the worst channel on YouTube? I've learned that as you grow, sometimes you bring up other channels and call them out on their shit. But sometimes it's in bad taste too. Now with Comic Book Cast 2, I don't think it would be in bad taste to say, to mention when they lie. But I don't really feel like I need to make a video calling them the worst channel on YouTube. Are they? I just walked away. If anyone asks me, do you recommend them? No, because their news is false. They make up shit. They take something, they take rumors, they take speculation, they take fan theories, and they act like they're a source. The one that stood out to me was when the Spider-Man costume for Infinity War came out like a year or two ago. Or no, it's for Spider-Man Homecoming. They're like, this costume's the real deal. And I'm like, this is a CGI image. Oh, this is real. Look at the folds. Look at the folds. Armin is not my cup of tea. I don't think I'll ever make a video about it, but if you guys ever want to know my thoughts on a specific channel that I'm aware of, I'll gladly tell you, because I don't think that's calling them out. I don't think that's talking shit about them. They know what they do. They put out clickbaity shit that doesn't even turn out to be true. That's why their videos get a bunch of views and then fall off like that. There's a secret to YouTube, and it's called being honest. And if you're honest, people will find you throughout history and always go back and watch your content and appreciate what you do. Dio Brando, thank you very much and good morning. What are the odds they're going to make the tech girl from Wakanda Ironheart for Phase 2? Never tell me the odds. No, that is a possibility, and I'm not going to buy it. One thing that Disney and Marvel... Okay, first off, Disney ignores the failures of Marvel Comics. I know diversity in comics is just basically on this crusade for this right now, and I stand with the stuff he talks about. But Ironheart's not a popular character. The Shuri or whatever her name is, Churro, people liked her and Black Panther, and they do that little stupid hand thing, and they think they're like, ooh, colonizers. Well, you know what? You can have your little in joke. But Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man's the main event. That is the big gun. Like he says in the movie, I'm the big gun. Robert Downey Jr. is the big gun. He's the biggest actor in the world. And he seems like a pretty cool guy as well. But you can't replace Iron Man with some girl. You think they're going to be able to insulate themselves from saying, oh, it's racist if you don't go support Ironheart the movie. No, it's stupid. I don't need that. People want what they want. There's a reason they've never made a Batman movie that's not Bruce Wayne. And yeah, your opinions aside about Justice League or Batman versus Superman, you got Batman, the real Batman, Bruce Wayne, not Azrael, or was his name John Paul Valley or whatever his real name is. You didn't get him. You didn't get Dick Grayson taking over the role. You always got Bruce Wayne. And you know what? It worked even when they recast him. Maybe you don't like Ben Affleck. That's your prerogative. That's great. He's okay in my book. But you've always had Bruce Wayne and you had different actors play him. If Shuri plays Ironheart for phase 4 or 5, fuck, I won't watch that movie. I liked Black Panther. I thought Black Panther himself was excellent. I loved him in Civil War more than I loved him in his own movie. And I really don't care where Black Panther goes next. I think it's more interesting when he is focused on the future of Wakanda, not necessarily trying to be a savior for America. That is not the type of movie I want to go see. So I'm going to say it's like a 75% chance of happening. And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it here on the channel. I live up to my mistakes. So 75% chance of her becoming that, because they're going to think they can really, really play up on that. Like, oh, we have this hero for black girls now. Well, make her own character. Don't piggyback off Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. built the role. Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, Jack Kirby, all those guys created the character. Create your own thing. Or are you creatively bankrupt? Can you not find a way to make your own hero? I think we all know the answer to that. I was not aware that today is Mel Brooks' 92nd birthday, so happy birthday to Mel Brooks. I hope he lives to see another 8 or more. My grandma's getting up there in age. She just turned 94 this year. I'm just hoping for that 100. I'm close to my grandma. She's a good lady. I don't know Mel Brooks personally, but he seems like a nice guy. A couple of years ago, I caught a radio interview with him, and one thing he said is that political correctness is the death of comedy, and that's the truth. I may write skits or jokes for the channel here and there, and if I ever have to think about choosing my own words to not offend anybody, the joke is dead. So you know what I do at times? If I write something that you guys are thinking funny, it's funny, I just don't worry if anyone's offended. Let's see, that super chat came from Zaire. Thank you very much. Still waiting for my Brother Voodoo movie. Well, it won't be called Dr. Voodoo now because you can't offend. By the way, if for just a quick moment before we get into Brock Butler's super chat, if you haven't checked out Luke Cage, if you want to see them do an all-black cast properly, go watch Luke Cage. Is it preachy at times? You're damn right. All entertainment catering to a smaller group definitely gets preachy. I don't know how many times I had to hear about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and being a king yourself and stuff like that. It's there. It is preachy. But overall, it's a fun story, and the characters are interesting. And Luke Cage grows. And now he's in a gray area. Before he was more altruistic and heroic. And now Luke Cage could be a bad guy in season 3. He's walking that line. It's a very, very interesting situation that they put themselves in with Luke Cage. I think it would be kind of cool if Luke Cage came face-to-face with the Kingpin and Daredevil saw Luke Cage as a threat. Imagine that. But that's just me armchair writing the script. But, you don't have to be overtly preachy and mean-spirited towards the majority of the race that your film doesn't they don't appear in. Like, I don't think there were many white people in it. I think there was one white dude in Luke Cage, but the story was good enough to where I didn't give a shit. So Zaire, if you're waiting for Brother Voodoo, just go watch Luke Cage. He even teams up with Iron Fist, which is kind of cool. Brock Butler, thank you and good morning. I'm not getting a great vibe from Captain Marvel, more specifically Larson. P.S. I never catch these live. It had to be 5 a.m. West Coast to do it. Well, Brock, I'm glad you finally caught one live. A lot of people seem to be catching us live now. I don't know if it's the notification or it's just, super early where you live. I get it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I love, especially when I was a kid. I would get up to watch Power Rangers, but on weekends I wouldn't get up to watch cartoons. I want to sleep. But from what I hear, YouTube has outsourced their server farm, and sometimes there's a delay for letting people when we go go live. So I'll put up a graphic over on our Facebook page that tells you when we're going live and what time zone it would be in your, what time will be in your end of the world. So first off, Brock, thank you. But I'm not getting a great vibe from Captain Marvel either. And for everyone that asks me, shouldn't I take the wait and see approach? Guys, they're adapting the new Carl Manverse, Captain Marvel. And take yourself online, read a comic or two for free, and there's a reason why they have to constantly reboot it. That character doesn't hit. They're trying to get themselves a female Superman, and it just doesn't hit. And I don't know why making money and appealing to all audiences already is a bad thing. Women like Iron Man. I had a lady over on our Facebook page, and I will not give out her name because though Facebook is public, I don't want to give her name out of the internet. And she said something along the lines of, I want more Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man films. The post was about the half or the majority female-led MCU. She's like, I want more Iron Man. And then she even puts another comment. Moreover, I don't think they get to decide who my son's role model is in terms of superheroes on screen. She's like, I'm offended that my son doesn't have more choices. Well, there you go, guys. When you're messing with somebody's kids and their entertainment or their real life stuff, you're going to get a terrible reaction. And that's just a small one. There are people out there that could be even more passionate than this woman. There could be people that are more apathetic as well. But my point is, if you're getting that kind of a pushback from a very even-keeled woman this early, wait till what happens when they go full bore on this shit. So I don't get my Captain Marvel vibe from just Brie Larson's smelliness. I've read Carl Manverse stuff, and it's not good. And there's a reason. I think it's been rebooted 5 or 6 times recently. They keep just going back. Number one. We're going to sell a whole bunch with number 1. You know what? Captain Marvel is number 2. Nobody likes the fucking character. Nobody. I think if we were going to get a whole vote for who we want to see next on film, male or female, Captain Marvel wouldn't be top 10. We'd get some really obscure shit. Zaire, thank you very much for your generous super chat. I saw Luke Cage, but after season 1, I got bored, just like Daredevil. In comics, I prefer Brother Voodoo. Yes, now Dr. Voodoo, because his stories are supernatural, like his team up with Werewolf by Night. Well, Zaire, I understand that you gave up on the Marvel shows, but I would suggest, if you have the time, to watch Luke Cage season 2. It deals in a little bit of the supernatural with Bushmaster. It talks about, pretty much like, put it like this. The people that were douchey and got away in season 1 get their comeuppance with season 2. And I thought Daredevil season 2 was excellent. If you get a chance to watch that as well. Now, I say you can skip Jessica Jones all day, every day. That show was preachy garbage, and it's too heavy-handed. I don't have a problem with a female-led thing or something for the female demographic in terms of superhero stuff, but you don't need to bash men in it. When the guys in the Avengers got together, well, they had Black Widow, but still, there's none of these superhero things where they're shitting on the women. So don't do it to the guys. You want equality? Treat everyone equal. It's really not hard to do. Zaire, let me know in just a regular chat if you are a fan of the idea of Jared Leto playing Morbius, since you talk about supernatural stuff. And do you read a lot of 70s Marvel? I've been trying to get into some of that more supernatural stuff. I have a big giant-sized Marvel, I think it's Dracula or something like that. So I'm getting into the older comics. For as much as I talk about, hey, I've given up on modern comics, I've embraced older stuff. As I get ready to produce our Harrison Ford parody comic for Indiegogo coming up, I have to go back and find out why I loved comic books in the first place. So thank you again, Zaire, for your super chat. Brock Butler, back again. Thank you again. Never up at 8 Eastern. Why do all these writers seem to think they can only elevate the characters at the expense of iconic characters' integrity? Well, Brock, here's how I take it. These writers suck. They don't know what works. These people don't say, hey, I've created this, or I've created that, or I've done this, or I've done that. If you sat down with a George Lucas or an Ian Fleming or a Stan Lee was able to do diversity well. But these people are like, I created this, I created that. These SJW writers and these people that are in entertainment today, like you said, they don't really elevate the characters. They tear them down because their ideas are dumb. Their identity is tied with, this, and that, and this ideal. Maybe if they were focused on being a good creator, to create something that people wanted to consume, then over time you could slowly get people to talk about their beliefs and ideals. But I think these people are leading with the wrong foot, and so they trip over themselves early on. Never should these people be able to get a hold of Iron Man or Spider-Man or Captain America because these sales figures are in the damn toilet. It's embarrassing. We live in the Twilight Zone world where independent stuff has superseded mainstream stuff, not because the independent stuff has all of a sudden grown that much in popularity in terms of like big public demand, but the other stuff is so bad that it's sunk lower, and then something new comes out, and it's the refreshing nature of it. That's why people consume it. The novelty is what people want and what they eat up. So my answer to you, Brock, is that the writers just aren't that talented. I know it sounds like a cop-out, but that's it. That's what I have to say about it. Reed Plancha, thank you very much. Captain Marvel hasn't been someone I bothered about. Superheroines for me are Wonder Woman, Zatanna, and Raven. All DC characters. DC definitely had the best female characters. Even stuff like Teen Titans with, not the cartoon, but the old George Perez, Marv Wolfman that I talked about yesterday on the show. You want to talk about diversity, that stuff works. You can have people that are storytellers first, I won't even say diversity hires first. They just see themselves as a diversity hire. They only play into that role for a company. So Captain Marvel was just okay back in the New Avengers days when Frank Cho was the artist. We're talking about 07, 08. And yeah, the costume was better looking back then too, but she wasn't as bitchy and mean-spirited. That just doesn't work. It's not going to be funny. A couple months ago, they said Captain Marvel is going to be a comedy. Well, they're going to probably try to blanket a lot of that hostility towards the fan base in comedy. And if you're smart, you'll see through the shit. That's why I don't really have to ever, hold the listeners of this channel's hands or correct people or this and that, because you guys are smart enough to get it. I get it, you get it. We're having a level conversation, a level discussion. So I have faith in you guys. Michael McLaughlin, thank you very much. Good morning. The only time Carol Manvers / Captain Marvel got interesting was after Rogue ate her. Monica Rambeau will forever be my Captain Marvel. And now Monica Rambeau is the black Captain Marvel with the afro, correct? Why couldn't we have her? Because reasons. There's a lot of stupidity behind the scenes. There's this weird synergy they're trying to create with modern Marvel comics, the ones that people don't buy. I know you could say, well, look at the Guardians of the Galaxy. That is an obscure series that took off. Yeah, but the Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't this mean-spirited nonsense that appeals to no one. Guardians of the Galaxy was a niche comic book, and the main crew didn't even become the main crew until fairly recent. But a lot of these characters have a built-in audience. I think somebody like a Hawkeye has created a big audience after being introduced in the movie, because I knew who Hawkeye was, but he was just kind of the guy in purple to me. Now he's more relevant because he has a family and he's interesting. You always work better when you introduce a character with a lineage like Black Panther or Doctor Strange. We're talking 50 plus years of stories for these guys, so you already have that built-in established fan base. Plus you have a lot of stories to draw from. Let's not forget, folks, that MCU movies are just essentially adaptations and reimaginings of previous stories. Go back and look at those thank you sections at the end of the movie. Those aren't just random people that you've never heard of. Those are comic book writers and artists that have created little bits of the story that you've seen. So hopefully they get their checks, they get their notoriety, they get their moment in the sun, because for everyone that sits and praises Stan Lee or Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans, let's not forget guys like Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, who did a lot of the real creating for Captain America. Let's not forget Steve Ditko, who did a lot of the creating for Spider-Man. Let's just not forget that it's a two-man team. Now, Spawn, that's all Todd McFarlane, for better or worse. Youngblood and stuff like that, that's Rob Liefeld. That's all their creations. But the characters that have stood the test of time, the characters that you care about, are a two-man team, sometimes three. Sometimes a woman. Let's never forget Marie Severin. If you don't know who she is, she's one of the all-time great artists and a woman, and she was in there in the 50s, and the 60s, 70s on. She's still alive. Look her up. She seems like a sweet lady. If you ever want to talk about progressive people in comic books that are, pushing the trend, her, Ramona Fradon, there were women that were drawing comics back in the day, and they were just as good as the guys, and the artwork didn't suffer, and you'd never know. So let's remember that comic books have always kind of had diversity down. They were a mainly Jewish thing for a while, and you had all kinds of different ethnicities and comic books in New York City, and they came together and they were able to create things that appealed to everybody. Now, these weird people that create comic books are a weird fringe minority, and they want to appeal to a weird fringe minority instead of telling stories that exceed the test of time. So that was a long way to answer your super chat, Michael, but thank you very much and good morning. Darth Platypus, my female friend wants more Chris Hemsworth Thor. Here's an interesting thing. I think everybody wants more of Chris Hemsworth Thor. Ladies like him because he's good looking. Guys like him because he's funny. I think he's hilarious, especially how he treated Rocket Raccoon in Infinity War. He called him Rabbit. How he talked about James Better in Age of Ultron. I like Thor. I don't mind if, for every Thor movie has a gratuitous shirtless scene. Fine. I can sit through it. It doesn't make me feel bad about my own body. Women like it. It gets them in the chairs. But at the same time, I don't think, the equivalency for a female character is a bad thing either. Sex sells. Play up to it. Everybody likes it. Why act like we're a bunch of fucking robots? We're not. We're just people. Certain things appeal to us. Certain things, certain aesthetics. Chris Hemsworth appeals to the ladies for the way he looks, the muscles, all that shit. Guys like... trying to think of a woman that I think's attractive that everybody likes. Scarlett Johansson's good looking enough, and she definitely fits that bill in certain movies, especially the Iron Man 2, First Avenger, stuff like that. So just give people what they want. And kids look up to them in a different way. Kids think the characters are cool and heroic. So you're hitting the 4 quadrants that we've talked about on the channel. It's a good thing, and I'm fine with that. Dio Brando, thank you very much for your generous super chat. I feel like the X-Men are going to appear at the end of Infinity War 2. That would be cool if they brought Wesley Snipes' Blade into the MCU. I could stand to watch him hunt Leto Morbius, much as I dislike Leto. I would love to see Wesley Snipes' Blade. Folks, if you have not seen a Blade movie, go back and watch it. Yeah, the CGI doesn't hold up, and I really don't even care about the progressive nature of a black superhero. Blade just kicked so much ass. He was the first one. He was really the first Marvel character who had a movie that made a difference. Let's not forget, a few short months prior to Blade, Batman and Robin came out. Everyone likes to say, oh, Batman and Robin killed the comic book movie industry. Not really. Blade was 98. Spawn was even in 97, and that was kind of a hit, but Blade came out in 98. 99 was a little bit of a dry spell. Then in 2000, you had X-Men, and then 2002 was Spider-Man, and so on, and now we're here. Blade really got the ball rolling, and I would love to see Wesley Snipes back as Blade. He's one of those actors who is the character, much like Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. Wesley Snipes is Blade. And I know people could tell me, but Jeff, that guy played Blade on TV on Spike TV in 2004. Yes, that guy did play Blade on TV on Spike in 2004. Can you name him? Because I can't off the top of my head. There's a reason we still talk about Wesley Snipes and not that guy from Spike TV. And that didn't really take off too well. But much like Harrison Ford with Indiana Jones, you had Sean Patrick Flannery play him on the TV show. But even though it was young Indiana Jones, you still weren't as invested if it was Harrison Ford. It just only works when you have that. And you stick with Wesley Snipes. The dude's in really good shape. He's aged pretty well. Put him in the role. People don't really have any bad feelings towards him. And it's cool to see that come back. But Dio Brando, I hope the X-Men don't appear at the end of Infinity War 2. If anything, I want the Fantastic Four to pop up. If the MCU wants to stay interesting to me, you should have the Fantastic Four appear after decades of being gone. We're talking like, oh my God, they were in some time warp and they were wiped from existence, in 1966 or some shit like that. And then, I don't know, they come to the present day, and then Galactus is freed, and Silver Surfer is freed, and all this other shit. Do some weird trans-dimensional time loop shit and bring them in. I feel like they would bring a lot to the table. Make them dated in a modern world, and then you can do a prequel to their appearance as the Fantastic Four trilogy, or just movie, and then bring them to the modern day. That's what I want to see. X-Men, if they do X-Men, there's 3 things I want to see. Colorful Jim Lee-styled costumes. I want to hear something different besides the John Ottman or Altman score, and I want less Professor X versus Magneto, because we've had that for 18 years. Let's get something else. Brock Butler, Guardians, which I liked, was necessary for Thanos. Yes, and I liked Guardians too, and Guardians of the Galaxy #2 as well. I don't really know what to say besides I agree that was important. because Thanos was introduced in the first Avengers film. Most people thought, is it Darkseid? Is that Hellboy? No, it was Thanos. And thankfully they altered his design, but he was necessary. And I'm glad the Guardians fleshed out the space aspect. Yeah, the space aspect is definitely working. Thank you, Raven Heartless. Good morning from Boston. And good morning to Boston. Bridge, I hope that they don't listen to Mark Waid either. Mark Waid is just an intellectual dumpster. Chris Prasa, thank you and good morning. Chuck Dixon was writing diverse characters before it was a thing, and nothing was forceful. Yeah, the thing is, we gotta they. I'm not gonna say us and them, the audience / consumers / customers of these companies, and the people producing them on the other side of this invisible wall. This thing they think it's a platform to that they're elevated on. They think they're more enlightened, but in reality, it's a step below us because us, the audience, we were always open to black characters, white characters, gay characters, straight characters, whatever. It just had to tell a good story. Being black or gay or a minority in these stories does not equal a good story. I think that's the part they fail to realize. They're like, oh my God, we're doing so much good for the world. No, the world is fine. The world is not as bad as you want to make it out to be. There isn't rampant attacks in the street just because a black dude lives across the street from you. Maybe that happened 60 years ago, but as I see my neighbor across the street right now taking out his garbage, not once has he ever faced adversity for being black in this neighborhood. He drives a BMW and things are good for him. So let's just stop acting like the diversity is the quality of the story and everything else just falls into line. Chuck Dixon was doing it first. Stan Lee had a lot of interesting allegories back in the day. Jack Kirby, who doesn't really get a lot of writing credit because he was the artist, had ideas about the progressive nature of Marvel stuff. Progressive in terms of old Marvel comics and the DC stuff. Well, when you get to the Danny O'Neill, Neil Adams stuff, it's a little heavy-handed and preachy, but it's still good, and I still agree with it. But when they're putting pictures of like Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King and stuff in the panels, it feels too on the nose. Spider-Man in the 60s dealt with it. We're talking about protests and stuff like that, and it was a reflection of the world we live in. I don't think Marvel Comics and any of these entertainment properties reflect the world we live in accurately. It used to be if it doesn't reflect the world we live in, they want it to mirror us in a positive way and an optimistic way of what we should be, what we should aspire to be, much like a Star Trek. But now it's a more of an authoritarian, you need to do this. This is how it should be. You're bad just being you. No. I like the idea of, you're good the way you are. Let's just try to be even better. There's not a nice hand guiding you in the back and, leading you the way down a certain path, and you can choose ultimately where you want to go. It's now like you're being beat into submission by people who are dumber than you and poorer than you and have less creativity than you. It's just because they know what to say to the right person that they appeal and get that job. They get that little bit of power. Vlad Piranha and Hathaway's ass was the real star of the Dark Knight Rises. I love that. Let's see. We had a few more super chats pop up. Don't want to ignore those. Thank you very much to everyone. Panda, good morning and thank you. I work with a guy who wanted to remove the toxic fandom. I asked who was going to pay for the movies. He kept falling back on the mystical group of fans that no one has found that they keep looking for. It's funny, Panda. Now, obviously, you can't say this because you work with the guy, but people like them or him are the toxic fandom. That's the truth of it. I don't really want modern Star Wars fans to just go fuck themselves and disappear forever. I want them to wake up and really pay attention to what's going on and take an honest look at the things. I look at it like this too, from a business standpoint. You don't get to choose your customers, but you got to find something that appeals to the most people. And if we appeal to people in prison from Chicago, fine, cool. We're not going to really shit on those people either, because in our case, it's your time that you give us. And, anyone that's willing to give me your time to listen to me talk, I appreciate it. I don't care what walk of life you come from. I give you the same respect. Now, Disney and Marvel and all these companies, they get your money, a lot of it too. And money's all the same from everybody. I don't care where you get it from. I learned this from my mom, because my mom has run convenience stores. She doesn't care what walk of life you come from. If you're wearing a potato sack or a Versace suit. I don't know if Versace makes suits, but my point is, if you're in there spending your money in the store on the product, you get the same respect, you get the same customer service and kindness that everyone else gets. And I think that Disney and Fox and Marvel and all these people need to understand that their livelihood, their futures aren't dependent upon this invisible group of people that don't exist that are going to magically save their jobs by purchasing their comic books. No. It's the average everyday, I won't even say American because these things are worldwide, but it's your average everyday person from different parts of the world that consume your entertainment. Let's show some respect because you're just alienating people. You alienated me, someone who was a diehard Marvel fan. I won't put up with your garbage. I don't like the politics. I don't like the bad stories. I don't like the bad art. I don't like the way people are treated on the internet. I'm really not much of a Twitter guy, but I've seen the garbage that goes down on Twitter. Twitter brings out the pettiest of petty people. There's a reason why I'm blocked by so many people that I've never even spoken to because they're so petty they couldn't even handle a differing opinion from world-class bullshitters. So, Panda, always keep the atmosphere at your job pleasant because you have to go to work every day. You can't really control who you work with. But I find it interesting, and I'm thankful for someone like you who actually questions these people who just blindly read what they see on the internet and accept it as truth and try to preach it out to the world. Those people are scary at times because they just get so full of whatever someone else is selling them, and then they take it as gospel and try to preach, and that's dangerous. No matter what end of the spectrum they're on, if they're preaching misinformation, that's a problem. So thank you, Panda. Dio Brando, Chris Evans should reprise his role as Human Torch and then have a conversation with himself. Sure, I'll line up. I'll buy 3 tickets for that one. That'd be awesome. Now, Chris Evans is a fantastic actor in terms of Captain America. Like, I actually believe in the character. I could really get into like deep conversations about Captain America and modern political climate and stuff like that. Chris Evans before that, though, was just the guy from Not Another Teen Movie. He wore the whipped cream over his dick. So I got to give him credit. He's a little older. He's more serious. He really makes Captain America mean something. And if they were smart, they wouldn't kill him off. And they really wanted to appeal to a group of people, they should make a Captain America movie that appeals to like the essence of America. And yeah, it's a worldwide property, but it's Captain America for a reason. Let's end the Captain America character, even if we don't kill him. Let's just have him go out on a high note that really resonates with a lot of people in this weird time. So thank you, Dio Brando. By the way, Godzilla Firestorm, New Mutants isn't even going to come out. I'm not trying to be negative, but you're never going to see that New Mutants movie the way it was meant to be, just like X-Men Phoenix. Expect reboots and reimaginings right away tomorrow. Before I get to that next super chat, Charming Curmudgeon, I prefer physical comic books over digital any day of the week. If you knew me personally, I have long boxes full of comics. I board and bag each one. I take them out when I want to read them. And sometimes what I'd like to do is buy a physical comic book, read it, put it away. And then when I want to reread it, either read it online or read a reprint or a trade paperback edition, especially with older vintage comics. I got some old Spider-Man stuff from the Ditko era, which is the first era, and I don't want to touch it. I was very fortunate to get it for relatively cheap, and I don't want my hands to fuck it up. So I prefer paper all day, every day. Digital music, I get it. I still buy CDs if it's like a special edition set, like the Beverly Hills Cop stuff that came with booklets and extra things. And I like to buy stuff that's not as popular on physical media, so they have numbers to back it up. Like, again, with Beverly Hills Cop, they put that out as a limited print run. The minute I found out it existed, I bought it. Why? Beverly Hills Cop's my favorite score, but 2, La La Land Records really is putting out excellent scores that are rare and obscure, and they're doing a service for a lot of people who wanted something, but these people aren't enough to sell a million things to. That 5,000 copies is good enough. They'll get that, and that'll happen. So let's see. We have a super chat from David Savage. Cool name. If Riddick was to cross over, DC or Marvel? For the joke, I would like if he crossed over with Marvel to see Groot. And, Groot's like, I am Groot. And Riddick says, oh, no shit. Or something like that is a joke. That jumps off the whole Chris Evans talking to himself, Vin Diesel talking to himself type of thing. Very meta, very funny. I don't really think anybody should cross over with DC anymore. Let's see. Reed Palancha, thank you very much for your super chat. You had this to say: it seems like a lot of stories and a number of different series are looking to a darker theme of portrayal of characters in universe. Well, this isn't the 1980s anymore. I don't think they can just get away with the darkness in quotations and make it popular. We had Daredevil go dark in the early 80s with Frank Miller, and then again, Frank Miller took Batman into a whole new direction and made it way more iconic than it ever was. And yeah, I'm going to say that. Dark Knight Returns did more for the character than Adam West Batman. In many ways, Adam West Batman ruined Batman. I still love it. I'm not here to shit on Adam West's legacy or the show itself proper. But let's be honest, the comic book was almost canceled after the show. Everyone thought of Biff Powell, Zamzaki, and all that shit for Batman. Frank Miller's darkness really saved the character, brought us into the mid to late 80s, and we got Batman 89, and we kind of moved forward with the character. That works. There was some dark era of Spider-Man too. The 80s, again, it was a really interesting time. You know, I'm going to go back, read Palancha, and say darkness could work, because I don't like to talk politics, so I'm not, but when there's a lot of political turmoil, you get some interesting entertainment in the terms of the 80s, when you had the impending nuclear threat with in the Cold War and all that stuff. You had some really interesting stories come out. Now we live in a world where there aren't as many real problems, and we're just kind of making our own problems. So we get entertainment that is meant to like reflect and react to like self-made problems. So maybe I'm going to take back and go my initial statement that darkness isn't the thing. I think now is the time where we need to step into the light. And I'll get a little preachy. We need a Superman of like Christopher Reeve type of Superman stuff. Light, not even light. It can be heavy themed, but it should be about goodness and stuff like that. Batman can stay in the shadows, but characters like a Spider-Man and Superman and Shazam and all these other characters should just take place in a fun world. And because politically there's garbage right now, there's all kinds of other crap going on. Let's just have a nice piece of escapist entertainment. Let's look at this as the end of the 70s. You know, we're like in Watergate, Vietnam era, and we need Star Wars to elevate us and help us get away from that, to inspire us, to fuel our imaginations and get us to the next step where we need to be as people through entertainment. Entertainment is so important. That's why I'm on here every day talking about it. Not because I know nothing else about anything. It's that I care about entertainment, and entertainment really does control where we're going to go, and it reflects where we are. And we need to focus on that and keep it pure and not let it be congested and infected by garbage. I mean, I give a shit about the stuff I talk about because it's important. I firmly feel it's important. These are huge properties that have a lot of weight and can control a lot of things, and they determine where we are as a people for a long time. So, sorry for that little diatribe. Thank you, Reed Palancha. Midnight Cherry TV. Was Invisible Boy a diversity hire in Mystery Men? I think here's why he's not a diversity hire. When your other options are like The Waffler, you know, Golden Crispy, Bad Guys Are History, or Eraserhead and Son of Eraserhead, Invisible Boy kind of seems like a good choice. It's like, I can turn invisible when nobody's looking. Well, that's a risk we're willing to take, because what the hell does Eraserhead do, or The Waffler? Nothing. So you're going to take a chance on something that's possibly cool, or you're going to take a chance with like, hey, I'm going to throw my eraser at you. Well, they already got the shoveler and the Blue Raja, so what does Pencil Man have to say about anything? Nothing. Hunky, Chunky, Funky Monkey. I love that name. World-class bullshitters, more like world-class truth spitters. Well, thank you very much. The name is a joke. I love it. It's a very catchy name that people remember, but you know, they give us a chance. They hear what we're actually about, and they go, huh. So that is the point of the name. But Hunky Chunky, Funky Monkey, thank you very much. I appreciate that compliment. I, too, am happy that Killmonger wasn't redeemed. Oh, wow. Okay, there's a lot of super chats popped up. Thank you, Blibbity Blop. Everyone check out the Deplorable Bat Cave. Blibbity Blop and his group of guys were really fun, and they were very cordial, and I felt honored to be on their show, and I think he's already left. So if I missed that, Blibbity Blop, I hope you go back and hear this later. Rick Ray, cool name. Money does mean all to Hollywood elites who are leading this charge against everyone. So we must fight with our wallets. A few more solos and they will notice. Yes. Um, I agree 100%, guys. Fund other forms of entertainment. You know, Cyberfrog's doing great. I'm hoping that my comic does just as great. Not because I'm trying to ride the coattails of EVS, but because I trained to be a comic book artist, and now's the right time to do this. I have a story to tell. I have tons of stories to tell. After the first Harrison Ford parody one, I got a really serious one that reflects our current state of entertainment. I just wanted to lead off with something fun and light, and give you guys something to look forward to. If I leave you with this dark, depressing comic, what's next? But yeah, Rick Ray, you have the right idea, and it's not just Disney. You gotta let them know everywhere. It'd be nice if people woke up to Disney's bullshit and everyone ignored all the Disney movies for the next 5 years. Like, wow, Disney's just doing terribly right now. And then a unified voice says, "Hey, we don't like what you're doing. Clean up your shit. I don't want to expose my kids to your garbage. I don't want to be exposed to your garbage. I don't buy your products. I don't go to your parks." Like, Disney can disappear. There is no such thing as too big to fail with Disney, because it's an entertainment business. Yeah, they own certain things, but you guys can make sure that they lose money hand over fist. So check that out. Adam Walford, thank you very much for your super chat. Now that Disney owns Fox, that would make Lady Fox. That would make a Lady Cenobite the new Disney princess. I'm okay with that. Now, does Fox just distribute Hellraiser, or do they actually own it outright? I don't know the legalities of that, but I know the Xenomorph is a Fox thing, so I wouldn't mind a movie where Rey from The Force Awakens goes to fight a Xenomorph and loses her face in the first 12 seconds. Hashtag book it. We're at the top of the hour, so remember, folks, that the U.S. Justice Department has proved the Disney-Fox deal, and I will read that in a moment. Brock Butler, thank you very much. I'd not kick Gamora out of my bed, green and all. Hey, skin color doesn't matter to me. Gamora looks pretty good. And Zoe Saldana looks pretty good. If you see them as one and the same, awesome. If not, I'll take them both. I just don't like a sword in my bed because I don't want to die. Reed Palancia. We have often judged the current stories based on what we have known since our childhood. What would children of today see from their experiences? Interesting question. I really like stuff like this. Well, we do have to look at it from their point of view, but we also have to look at what they're exposed to. How many kids have seen the original Star Wars? Because their parents showed it to them. How many kids are exposed to these characters? It's because their parents exposed them to them. And another thing, too, the children of today might not necessarily be reading comic books. They may be watching the cartoons or the movies based on the classic rendition. So it's kind of perpetuating the original character. You could say, oh, but, kids today know Miles Morales as Spider-Man. Kids today maybe have caught a couple episodes of Spider-Man Unlimited where Miles Morales appears. That's fine. But if they look at that suit of Peter Parker and they can identify who Peter Parker is from that cartoon, and then they go look at the movies and the comics and the TV shows and the video games and everything else, they see that version. The classic versions are on the MCU screens for a reason. They just are timeless. So I do agree with your statement about we judge current stories based on what we've known since our childhood, but it's not even a nostalgia thing, I don't think. It's just that's what the characters are. Spider-Man is a dude from New York who's a Mets fan who at one point was a photographer. He's brilliant but lazy, according to Doc Ock. You just build on what's there. You don't change it for the next generation. You create new stuff for the next generation. That's the problem. People aren't mad that you create more characters. Marvel could own a million different characters and have a million different comic books, but if everyone's favorite books stay the same way, or not the same way, but keep the quality and keep themselves interesting for decades, people are going to buy those books, and then they'll venture out into new books. When you try to take something that's there and change it so much that it doesn't even resemble itself, you don't have any fans. So that's my answer to you, Reed Plancha. Thank you very much. Andrew Dale, good morning to you. Does this mean Anastasia will become a Disney princess? Wasn't it confirmed that Anastasia wasn't a princess after all? All joking aside, that is a Fox movie, so that would be Disney property. Do I have that? I think my grandma bought me that. My grandma bought me every cartoon movie as a kid. I don't really remember it too well, except that song on the Dark of the Night or in the Heat of the Night or the Heat is On or something. And Christopher Lloyd was the voice of Rasputin. That was pretty cool. But yeah, Anastasia is now a Disney princess. Once this is officially gone through, this is just the first hurdle has been completed by that. Panda says, please plug Chuck Dixon's Jungle Comic Indiegogo. All right, folks. Well, check out Chuck Dixon's Jungle Comic Indiegogo. I'll have to do some research off air and check it out. And, I support indie stuff. I'm all about that. I picked up a thing called Big Breasted Vampires or some shit because it was an indie comic book. Yeah, it had boobs on the cover, but I supported an indie comic book. So there we go. Do I think Rick and Morty are ready for a feature-length cartoon? What are your favorite comedic cartoons? I like Rick and Morty a lot. I don't know if I like because they work in small doses. I look at it like all the other cartoons that were on when I was kids. They work in their episode formats, but then when you up the budget, they look different. They're longer. They're not as... I didn't like them as much. Like the Rugrats movie, I hated the Rugrats movie. Or Doug's first movie, stuff like that. I just would rather watch the shows. And not Disney Doug, but Nickelodeon Doug. Darth Platypus, my stuff will be up soon. Believe me, when I get it up live in terms of the Indiegogo stuff, I will definitely tell you guys. And I appreciate your support already. But I just want to talk to EVS to make sure I have everything covered because I have the story and I know how to write and I know how to draw, but I just want to make sure that I present it to everyone in a good way so people are interested. Because they're surprise, I'd like to take the story and turn it into a movie, but that would require a lot of money and the services of one Harrison Ford. So yes, Liquid Metal Pro, 2 streams within 24 hours. We'll wait till tonight because that'll be the 3rd one within 24 hours because World Class Bullshitters is going live tonight at 8:30, as always, as we do on Thursdays. So, Ivan Nieves, you have a comic too? I hope my anime idea happens. Well, Ivan, I do too. You hired someone, correct? You were looking to outsource your idea and turn it into something. Man, if you need help getting your word out there, you can come to me. Same thing with anyone that has a comic or stuff like that. Started out on the Facebook page and stuff. And, I'd like to help the world grow the comic book industry. Comic books are fun. They can be an interesting thing. So everybody can do it. And I support you, wholeheartedly. And yes, Ioic Ta, I've seen Remington Steele. Just taking a quick hydration break. According to stats, 1.8 billion people have seen the first Star Wars. Holy shit. I'll take your word for it because we're on air. But if you guys have a link to those stats, I'd love to get an article about that so I can put it in a video because I always stand by that first movie. You hear me talk about it. You heard me excited. I was into the comic book stuff, but first Star Wars, man, I want to say it's my all-time favorite movie, but I can't. There are certain things they've changed. So Back to the Future really just gets named number 1 because they haven't changed anything about it. And Back to the Future is just as good as Star Wars in many ways. But 1.8 billion people have seen the first Star Wars movie. That's cool. I really think it is the best one. I know people like Empire. Empire's great. I think Empire's almost as good, just as good. But I prefer A New Hope. It's the most important film ever made. The marketing, the way it was advertised, well, not even the way it was advertised. Through the re-releases and stuff like that. But it brought in the modern movie blockbuster, for better or worse. And it really is a cross-generational story that really appeals to tons and tons of people. So 1.8 billion people, I believe it. I'm excited. Yes, Gerard, that means that Home Alone is now part of Disney once it goes through. It is truly the new dark age of cinema once it goes through. Let's see. A New Hope and Superman 2 are the first 2 VHS movies your family ever rented. Folks, in the comments, let me know what some of the first movies you ever rented were. Tell me about, even if it was like you rented stuff on DVD in the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm not trying to push anybody out in terms of age. Let me know what some of the first rentals you guys had were. I don't remember my first rentals, but I remember 3 Ninjas as a pretty early one. A New Hope came out during the Cold War. Yes, it did. It did change cinema forever. No film has come close to replicating that kind of success. Godzilla Firestorm, you're spitting but nothing but the truth in the comments, so thank you very much. But yeah, folks, A New Hope changed it all. 41 years later, we're still talking about it. And the thing is, it still feels new and fresh. Yes, the sideburns are a little dated, but hell, even Luke Skywalker's haircut has come full circle. When I was in high school in the early 2000s, people had the Luke Skywalker haircut. So with the exception of the sideburns and a couple things here and there, the movie really is timeless. I think that's why I think Back to the Future also can be considered timeless because it takes place in a specific time period. Therefore, it doesn't date badly. It's meant to represent the 80s. It was made in the 80s, so it's the perfect representation. And then it takes place in the 50s, and you can easily replicate 50s technology. Sure, there's a few anachronisms here and there, but overall, it still gets it right. Ivan Nieves, thank you very much. I got a concept artist to do my characters. It's just a shame. I always was told not to draw. I only wish I had the skill to put my ideas on paper. Ivan, let me give you a little bit of advice, my friend. Here's some things you should do if you're really passionate about drawing the book and money's too tight to hire someone else. Go online, watch a lot of how to draw stuff. If you can draw circles, you can create comic books. I actually worked on a how to draw book, and I wrote the whole thing out, but then I got sidetracked with doing other stuff, but I have actually written an entire book. I just need to put it together, and maybe one day it'll sell. Ivan, what you should do is you should sit down and practice. Don't listen to what you were told as a kid. Listen to me, a guy you've never met. Maybe one day you will. But follow that. You can sit down and draw. In the beginning, it's going to suck, but it gets better and better and better. And if you come up with the money to hire somebody to do your comic, pay it and get it done. Look what Diversity in Comics did. Thankfully, I'm more like an Ethan where I can draw and I can write my own stuff, and I have the ability to produce all this stuff. Another thing I suggest too, my friend, is digital. There are a lot of programs where you can take 3D models and you can trace them and you can do certain things. Because if you think your favorite comic books are 100% drawn by hand, you're wrong. Go look at a modern Star Wars comic from Marvel. There's a lot of tracing involved. So don't let that be a shame to you. Just find a way. I mean, anybody can make anything happen if they just keep working at it. So I believe in you, Ivan. You can make this comic happen. All you got to do is find a way. And people out there, why don't you network with people? Go to our Facebook page, or contact me personally. I can send you to a couple Facebook pages about how to network with comic book creators. Maybe you can find somebody that's a really good artist that can't get work. You guys could work out some kind of deal. I mean, I worked for low-end books before. I only made $50 a page, but you know what? I drew a comic. Multiple issues. I've done it before too. And this guy worked a regular 9-to-5 job and he was able to commission me. So maybe you'll be able to find prices for people out there. Don't give up, man. Like, trust me, you'll be able to get that on paper. Just take your time and do it the right way. And like I said, if you ever need help, come to me. Find a way to contact me. Panda. Good morning again. After the deal is finished, will Disney re-add the Fox logo to the original trilogy or leave them off? Should they put Star Wars under the Fox brand again? You know what, Panda? I'm glad you asked this because I mentioned it last night and I wanted to bring this up again. So thank you. I think it would be smart in terms of like psychological nostalgia, if that's even a fucking thing, to put the 20th Century Fox fanfare in front of Star Wars. Because I don't know about you, but no matter what movie I'm watching, if it's Die Hard, Predator, if they play the Fox fanfare, when I hear the da-da-da-da-da-da, and then the THX and all that shit. Well, I think of THX and Star Wars and that. But my point is, when you hear the 20th Century Fox logo, I think of like 5 or 6 seconds of silence, and then boom, Star Wars hits you in the face with the music. Do it. Help separate Disney Star Wars from classic Star Wars. Change it going forward. Alter it, fix it the way the fans want it, need it, it should be, and then put the Fox stuff in front of it. Milk that Fox logo. Remember, 20th Century Fox had the distribution rights to the James Bond home video library. When you watch the movie, it'll say Fox home video, and then it goes into United Artists and MGM logo. So it'd be slick if they did it that way. I think it would really add to some help with forgetting the bad situation around Disney Star Wars. So I'm looking at a lot of the people who talked about stuff they rented. Somebody said the first VHS they bought was The Life of Brian. Carl Lonsdale, you rock the sideburns, but you're British. I have sideburns too, in respect to The Rock. Mine go just past my ear. Jaws on Betamax. The first rental was The Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog. I used to watch that cartoon. And that's the one with the chili dogs and Steve Urkel's the voice. I like that one. Goonies. Goonies was your first VHS rental. Look, I love the Goonies so much. Mortal Kombat. Willow, to Willowing. A lot of Star Wars. Random dude on the internet, you're never late to a live stream in the morning. We keep the energy up from the beginning to the end. You know, what's funny is I actually have the most energy at the end, and I don't want to end the show. Like yesterday at 10 o'clock, I wanted the show to keep on going. Like I was just really into it. I'm feeling that way today, especially that it's Thursday. We only have one more day after today in terms of the work week. We got some watch parties coming at you this weekend on Saturday night. I got another live stream with a friend and patron on Sunday. We're talking about entertainment, merchandise, memorabilia. So if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, if you were here on Saturday night to listen to me talk about toys or anything else, join us. It's just a one-on-one conversation, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to make it about our friend and patron. So don't miss out, and make sure you have questions for him as well. Godzilla. Oh, Godzilla movies are awesome. Love me some Godzilla. Transformers 86 is the best. I need to see that movie. Now, from an artistic standpoint, the animation is great. I love looking at that. Especially, was it the... who's the giant planet one? Not Megatron. Not Omnitron. There's no such thing as Omnitron. You know what I'm trying to say. The Orson Welles character. Quiet man, you win. The Rock says, it doesn't matter who Miles Morales is. You damn right. I can't get into cutting Rock promos because, guys, if I start thinking about The Rock, I will start acting like The Rock in promos. And while that would be a fun little bit for me, you guys would be bored. Like, Jeff, stop referring to yourself as the Jeff in third person. Klaus Stork, thank you and good morning. Good morning. What's your favorite movie, Alien? That's a good question. I like The Predator, whatever kind of alien that is. I think visually it's cool. It does a lot of stuff for the story. I like Chewbacca. To jump back to Star Wars, Chewbacca holds a very special place in my heart. I'm looking around my shelf to see movies that I have with aliens in them. I'm going to go with Predator first, like The Predator. I don't know what it's called. It has a name. Someone mentioned to me earlier, but Predator and then Chewbacca. Those are my two favorite aliens from film. $800 shirt, Rock. Jabroni. Oh, my God. We'll do a Rock cast maybe next May when he turns, 46? No, 47. Rock's getting old. That's okay, though. You know, guys, let's help the channel grow. One day we'll get him on the show. That would be the highlight of my life. I get to interview The Rock. As long as he doesn't treat me like Michael Cole or what's his face, Kevin Kelly, we'll be all good. Reed Plancha, thank you very much for your generous super chat. George Lucas had to use the sci-fi fan groups to get people talking about A New Hope, whilst letting people know of it in the more traditional way. He knew the power of groups bound by common interests. Missing today, maybe. You know, Reed, maybe Star Wars is doing that again, but it's the opposite type of people. They're getting a group of people bound by a common interest, but that common interest isn't science fiction or Star Wars now because Star Wars is its own thing. Maybe it's a group of people bound by the common interest of bastardizing entertainment. Think of it from that point of view. Because I've seen the images of them at one of the earliest Comic-Cons where they had the Star Wars poster and Mark Hamill was there in those gnarly boots promoting the movie. It was a different time, as well as it being promoted in a traditional way, or a current way, as it was for 1977. Like I've said before on the show, guys, if you don't know this, theaters didn't want to exhibit Star Wars. It was that science movie from Fox, but everyone wanted to exhibit a movie called The Other Side of Midnight. So Fox owned both of those, and they said, if you want The Other Side of Midnight, your ass is going to distribute Star Wars, or going to see Star Wars too. Well, it's 41 years later, and no one here has seen The Other Side of Midnight. Everyone has seen Star Wars. So it's funny how things like that work out. It's kind of like Kiss. They opened up for some famous band one year, and then the next year that band was opening up for them, and then we know who Kiss is, and I can't even remember the band in the story. So here's the thing, too, with George Lucas. George Lucas was the underdog back then, and he's even become what he's hated the most. He became the studio system himself. But I think that little inkling of rebellion always remained with him. So the corporate structure at Lucasfilm proper back in the day was a little more, I'm not saying lax in terms of they want results, they want to make money, but ideas were more free-flowing. Not Disney Lucasfilm. But tradition is tradition for a reason too, Reed. I think that they should focus on... Sorry about that. I think they should focus on finding out why we love what we love and letting more people know why we love it. Because you can fall out of love. I've fallen out of love with Star Wars. A lot of people have fallen out of love with Star Wars. But we want to take it back if they can fix it, or we want to take it back by force and fix it ourselves. So Star Wars, it's a battleground right now. I'm not trying to be more hyperbolic than I need to be, but it's a battleground right now, and we need to make sure that those people in power know that we're going to change it and fix it, and it's not for angry racist reasons, because what was there was perfect and beautiful, and we don't want their new garbage. Don't shit on what we love. Unicron is the name. Thank you, Darth Platypus. Let's see. We have another one from Dr. Otto Van Doofus. Great name. Saw Star Wars May of 77 at drive-in. Remember drive-ins? Well, Dr. Otto Von Doofus, I was not alive in 1977 or any point of the 70s, but I do remember drive-ins in the early 2000s and the 90s. I saw Men in Black in the drive-in in 1997 with a Clint Eastwood movie, I believe it was called Absolute Power. I fell asleep in that one. I was there for Men in Black. But I also saw Charlie's Angels 2 Full Throttle and Terminator 3 at a drive-in with my best friend as a kid, Tony. I don't really talk about Tony too much, but we've been friends since 1994? 3? I don't know. We've been friends for most of our lives. But yeah, he and I went to see that movie, and that was my last experience with a drive-in. There are drive-ins around here in Cincinnati. I'm thinking about catching a drive-in picture when the heat breaks a little bit, like a nice 65 to 70 degree evening, no humidity or low humidity. Just go with a couple of people and hang out. It'd be a lot of fun. But I do remember drive-ins. Oh, do I smell it that Jeff is cooking? Oh, I do. Alpha Terranima, thank you very much and good morning. Who would win, Rey or Katiro from Sword Art Online? Kirito from Sword Art Online. I've never seen Sword Art Online, but Rey's going to just, blink the other character out of existence. But I'm hoping it would be a cool duel, and I want the other character to win. Like, you guys can't, literally, you could not name a film character that I would want Rey to beat. Like, who do I want to beat Rey? Veruca Salt's dad from Willy Wonka. I want him to defeat Rey in a lightsaber duel to the death. Napoleon Dynamite's grandma. I want her to defeat Rey in a duel to the death. Inspector Gadget's dog Brain. I want him to defeat Rey in a duel to the death. So, anyone, there's not a single character that you guys can throw at me that I'll say, yeah, I want Rey to beat them. Nobody. Prove me wrong. Abomino, I like that. Once you have a digital copy of Star Wars, they may change it to it. You should be able to update your movie like a patch in a video game. I think they just need to put every edit of Star Wars together in equal 4K quality. That way you can chop your own parts together and make sure the pictures match. No color timing differences, no nothing. Just perfect 4K remasters, even with the special edition changes. Make those available to the decades of people that like that one too. Because at this point in time, we got to remember, folks, the special editions have been in the public eye as long as the originals. And hear me out. I know the originals have been around since 77, but from 77 to 97, they're the only versions. Now from 97 to 08 or 2018, they're the versions that are out. So, there's a lot of people that like it. Zeddy5, a great show, Jeff, and I thought your recent High Council was really awesome. Best one so far. Thank you, Zeddy5. I had a fantastic time with it, too. I missed EVS, but I got to give Doomcock credit. And if you guys noticed, I have a nice flow how to read our super chats as well as give you guys an entertaining product. So remember, when world-class bullshitters host the High Council, I'm going to make sure that you guys get the best show I can. But make sure you do watch it on Geeks and Gamers as well as Comic Artist Pro Secrets. Never miss a week of the High Council because every day is a new battle in terms of the war on Star Wars. So thank you again, Zeddy5. I appreciate that. Yes, Quiet Man, anyone can draw. Cesario, Japan. Still waiting for Spaceballs 2 to search for more money. After running Spaceballs as a first rental, they won't make such things again nowadays, sadly. Yeah, and sadly is the right word to describe it. I think a Spaceballs trilogy could have been awesome if they would have relaunched that shit around 90. So Phantom Menace comes out in 99. Let's say 01, you get Spaceballs 2. Then in 05, you get, or 06, oh, I know. So then 04, you get Spaceballs 3, and then you get some crazy one after Revenge of the Sith. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't think it's too late for a Spaceballs. Now, Mel Brooks could consult. You could get some future directors involved, some people who understand comedy, some people who know how to rip apart Star Wars on a different level and make it a meta thing. I think now we need Spaceballs more than ever. If I could come up with a way to make it happen, I would, because if you could make a Spaceballs movie that tears down the Disney narrative even harder than the way that the original Spaceballs tore down the marketing, the merchandising line, making fun of Star Wars like that, we could really, really embarrass Disney. So, wait, isn't Spaceballs Fox? Yeah, Spaceballs. Sorry, Spaceballs is MGM. We're still good. But I don't know who bought the catalog. Ooh, it could be a Fox picture now. We'll never know. But yeah, I'd like Spaceballs too. Drive-ins were great for making out. So are regular movie theaters, trust me. Dr. Otto von Doofus, you're the old guy in the room. You were in Cincy on Monday. If you guys are ever going to be in the area for, on a weekend or something for a couple days, let me know, and we'll get the other bullshitters that are local together, and we'll all go have a beer. And if you're not old enough for a beer, we'll go get a cheeseburger or some shit. But I like to have local hangouts for the people that are close enough. So I don't live my life shrouded in mystery. I like to meet people and have these discussions in person. I had a guy recognize me at a toy store the other day, and we talked for like an hour. He happens to live in the neighborhood next to mine. He's a great guy, recognized my voice. Hope to run into him again, because he does custom action figures. I think it's like Dan's Customs on eBay. So if you guys are looking for custom stuff, this guy was at the vintage toy store looking for action figure fodder. And, if you see me, say hi. Panda. As an anime con, Chair Kirito would win hands down. Cool. Like I said, I don't ever tell you guys that I watch shit that I haven't watched to try to sound like I'm up on everything. Anime, I like it. I started watching, what is that? Initial D, or the drag racing show. It was fine. I got to watch more. I get it. There's a lot of great entertainment coming out from the other parts of the world. I think American entertainment right now is kind of in the shit. So maybe it is time to embrace that stuff. You want to see Deadpool holding Ray's head like Buzz Lightyear. Well, Raven Heartless, I'm glad you remember the like Buzz Lightyear thing. And if you don't know what that means, go to our Facebook group, the official World Class Bullshitters fan page, and check out the picture of Buzz Lightyear holding Ray's head. Oh, Jim Bobo, Ray versus Holdo. Here's the thing, Jim Bobo. What you do is you have Holdo take out Ray with the ship, and they both die. King Eric wanted to learn how to draw. Funny thing is that I ended up going into game modeling afterwards, 3D modeling. Let me tell you something, guys. I'm not trying to ever dissuade you from your dreams. I got into drawing hardcore. Graduated from college in 2014. I was doing art from 2014 until the end of 2017. It's cool, but man, it doesn't pay much money, and it's a lot of work for very little respect. People act like you're wasting your life. But if you're passionate about it, you can make it happen. But if you're in gaming and other stuff, if you're getting that same creative, creation-gasm that you would from other things, stick with something like that. Bay UK, thank you very much for your super chat. There's no message, but I'll tell you thank you. How would Brooks parody Ray in Spaceballs? Well, every time Ray walks up to a character, their head explodes and they just die. No explanation. Just, boom, they're dead. Dio Brando says, Sword Art is bad, Jeff. I haven't seen anything yet, so. Bay UK sends in another super chat without a message. Thank you very much. Panda, will Disney release the unedited original trilogy? And Bay UK, I see your other message. I'll read that right after this one. Disney probably will if they go through, because remember, Fox has the distribution rights to the original Star Wars movie, so that'll cover that thing, and you'll probably get an original cut of Star Wars to appease the fans. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if this deal goes through soon, if at Celebration, on top of a trailer for Episode 9, that, we would definitely rip apart if it sucks on here, they'll also announce the original unedited Blu-ray, and that'll basically draw the attention away from whatever they do with episode 9, and you'll have the older fans and the purists be like, oh my god, Disney, praise Disney, they're doing what Lucas never did. So it'll be a very smart business move. So expect that at Celebration 2019. And Bay UK asked, would you want Rose Tico to beat Rey in a sword fight? She is a minority after all, she could do it. I'd like to have her crash her speeder into Rey, and then without Finn there to save her, we all win. Well, Twistle of Morbius, I'm sure your dad's giving you shit. Maybe your dad has your best intention at heart, but I get it. Though, if you're doing what you love, enjoy it. I took some art classes in college. I thought I wanted to be a graphic designer on top of whatever. Drawing's fun. Drawing's great. If you can make it, awesome. Another reason I don't think I liked being an artist was I don't really click with the people. I like to talk. Clearly, you guys are listening to me talk in the mornings now. I'm barely awake, but I still have a lot to say. The solitude of drawing is what I like the least. Now, maybe I work in a quiet, single-room environment, but I'm reaching thousands of people on average per day. And when I put out a video, there's a comment section, and those comment sections blow up. So it is like I can have a dialogue about anything with everyone. Art didn't give that to me. I would sit down, I would do my 30-minute warm-up, I'd find what I had to do for the day, I'd practice, I'd study on stuff. And it just, after a while, it became grading. But don't give up because I had my experience. If you're very happy with this, if you find the peacefulness in art, if you like the community and you like hanging out with other artists and stuff like that, awesome, you go for it. You don't change just because I, say what I say. Luckily, I have this outlet, which is taken off. You guys are here. Tons and tons of people are here, and it's much more satisfying for me, and I have a lot more fun with it. I like the interaction, the interactive aspect of it. Rey versus Rey, they kill each other, end of movie. Well, Abomino, I'll watch that one too. We're a community that your hard work here created. We're the bullshitters community. Well, thank you, Raven Heartless. I appreciate that. This is one thing that it's taken years to get here, and I don't regret a single minute of it. I'd do it again in a heartbeat to get back here, and we keep going and going. So the future is, there's endless possibilities. Yeah, King Eric, post your 3D models on the page. I'll check it out. I'd love to see it. I'm always wanting to see what people have to, create. Centurion Rex, did I draw in my textbooks in high school? I did not. What I would do is I would draw in the ledgers of my notebooks. If you guys want to see that, I'm on DeviantArt. It's just Jeff J. Hicks. And if you go to my notebook sketch series, I've gotten a lot better, but I would doodle in all my notebooks in college. And I still got A's and B's in college, so yay for me. But I would draw all the time. Pictures of Spider-Man in the back of class. Sometimes women, I like to draw women a lot, but I don't want to draw them in public because I don't want people to think I'm a perv or whatever. But yeah, I drew all the time in my books in school. Well, Chris Cocker or Corkum, Lucasfilm will let that happen, guys. George Lucas isn't there anymore. That ideology is no longer there. That desire to hide the original Star Wars from people. If Disney can make $1 billion from it, damn it, they're going to make $1 billion from it, and they're going to gain a lot of public support because in their eyes, or in the eyes of fans, who that is the thing they want the most, they will finally received it, and they will respect and love them. It's like Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when Ferris says, how he's never had sex, but the one girl that'll give it to him will, it'll mean everything to him, no matter how shitty she treats him. Let's see. Get a folder of old pics, your toys, whatever crap you think is cool. When you do Good Morning Pop Culture, have images app saved, slideshow ready for a time like now. That's a good idea. I'll look into that. I would love to find something to do. I'm getting my office together to where we can actually, you guys can see me. So I'm not trying to hide. I just don't have the background set up properly. My office is like a messier version of Geeks and Gamers. In many ways, my office is like a library. I have hundreds and hundreds of books, Blu-rays, DVDs, all kinds of shit. It's a monument to pop culture and my interests, but it's got to look good on camera. You don't want to see a messy bookshelf. So let's see. Andrew Falls, thank you and good morning. Hey, Jeff. Went to look at the Last Jedi reviews on Netflix, and my 10-year-old thought I was putting it on to watch. He says to me, that movie was bad. It was confusing and didn't make sense. Oh, Andrew Falls, you should feel good because your 10-year-old understands quality filmmaking. But see, I know it's anecdotal, Andrew, but listen, think of that like this. There's a ton of people out there whose kids just either aren't interested in that Star Wars movie or don't like Star Wars. And they're doubling down on getting that audience and they're pushing us aside. I don't want to sound weird, but had Star Wars not turned the way it was with Disney, I'd have liked Star Wars till the day I die. I would have tried to get my kids into it. You know, with Dion, he has a son he'll be 5 in February. This kid is like getting into that prime Star Wars age. Dion's really not pushing it or trying to. He's just letting this kid do his own thing, partially because new Star Wars stuff is bad. And Dion and I have had that discussion off air. So your 10-year-old is probably a good indicator to where kids nowadays are going to go. And one thing, too, that I always say that works for children's entertainment, I don't have children, but I remember being a kid, and I always wanted to be treated like I was older. You know, you wanted to get the respect that the older kids got. So I think it's smart for when you make stuff geared towards kids, you make it appeal to like the 10 to 12 to 13-year-olds, and then the little kids will want to get in on it too. You know, making something for a 5-year-old works for 5 and under. Making something for a 13-year-old works for all those and under. Plus, you know, like as an adult, you can look back and see the things and appreciate those. So I hope, Andrew, that if your 10-year-old's ever bad, that you don't punish them with The Last Jedi viewing, because I may not be a parent, but I know cruel and unusual punishment when I hear it. And that film is definitely punishment. Bay UK, Jar Jar versus Rose versus L337 versus Rey, the final fight. I think we all lose, but I'll go with Jar Jar Binks. I hate Jar Jar Binks, but damn it, I hate him the least. Raven Heartless. I got a new action figure yesterday. I had imported from Japan. Cost $150. Gotta love collecting. What's the action figure, Raven? I'm interested. I get stuff from Japan every once in a while. Somebody owed me a gift. We made a bet around the Super Bowl. So I'm gifted a Megazord from Japan. I can't wait to get it. It should be here today or tomorrow. Maybe I'll do an unboxing and just talk about it on air. I'm pumped. I love me some old Power Rangers. Okay, Lamp Shadius. I'm going to do that. I'm going to look. Let me write down add images to show. By the way, if British Metalworks is listening, I haven't had a chance to hear back from EVS yet, so don't worry. Thanks, Armoron, for checking my stuff out on DeviantArt. It's old. If you want to see newer stuff, look up the Jeff Hicks on Instagram. A lot of naked ladies, but you can see where I was getting to with my inking. I was getting that clean line that I've been looking for years. I finally was comfortable taking a lot of time to get the work done before I was in a rush to try to get it out there. And whatever, I needed money. But the show had started to work, so I was able to get a little more comfortable and feel safe and produce better work. Now, with this being a full-time gig, when I do the comic for the Harrison Ford story, it's going to be the best thing I've drawn yet. And then the next one, which I want to tell you guys about so bad, but I don't want you to skip the Harrison Ford one, waiting for the next one. I just want them both to work, because the first one needs to be the most successful, because I want to turn it into a movie, and I really think it'll work. And then I know it'll work. And then the next one is the one I think everybody will read for a long time. These are not like an ongoing superhero series, by the way. They'll be drawn like a superhero comic that people will be very pretty and it'll be very appealing, but it's going to be very much the first one could happen in real life story, and the second one is an allegory to where we are now in terms of entertainment. So just be on the lookout for that. I'm sure I'm not hiding my rock-like sideburns from What the Sith is this. There are pictures of me over on Facebook and stuff. I don't really hide who I am. There's nothing to hide. I'm open about stuff. If you guys got questions about me, ask. I like to share and talk to people. The funny thing is, a lot of people see me in public. They think I'm this big, quiet, scary guy, and they don't say much to me. But when people approach me, the nicest guy in the world to them. You know, people at the gym, no one really speaks to me except this one old guy, because they think I'm either scary or whatever. But some people started talking to me yesterday, and we had a nice, long conversation. So feel free to ask me questions, guys. I'm not worried about that. Bay UK, I answered your super chat again. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Forgotten Crowd, thank you. You can't spell Star Wars The Last Jedi without SJW. Very true. Very true. Oh, Ryan Johnson. Eat a dick. It's a figure from a video game. I'll send it on Facebook. Cool, Raven Harless. Gladly, we'll check it out. I wonder who made it. That's what I meant to say. I wonder who made it. Oh, Bradley, the reason The Simpsons are on the air for all these years is because it makes money. It makes money. And if I had a cartoon that made me $500 million like Matt Groening with The Simpsons, well, fuck, you guys would be watching it until I'm dead. Probably long afterwards. Disney now owns steamed hams. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Do I think Mike Judge will make more Beavis and Butthead? The 2011 Beavis and Butthead, I liked it quite a bit. I watched every episode. I don't think MTV has a place for Beavis and Butthead anymore. But I think the world needs Beavis and Butthead more than we ever realized. I think we need someone so stupid to be able to produce such a smart piece of commentary on the world in terms of entertainment. So Mike Judge, I really think Mike Judge should bring back Hank Hill and the King of the Hill crew. Now, Fox is with Disney, so that ain't happening, but I'd really like to see Hank Hill come back because it's an interesting political climate right now. We can't deny it. No matter what side you're on, it's very interesting. And in terms of entertainment, you could have a different side come from Hank Hill. So maybe Hank Hill's the man we need after all. Hank Hill for president 2020. Do I have any art prints available to purchase online, says Evan Kowalski. I used to do that a ton, but I lost a lot of my artwork in a storm. Not a fire or anything sad like that. I was moving stuff, and I had something on the side yard, and before I realized it rained, and it ruined thousands of dollars worth of artwork prints. I had all the stuff you guys see in print form. I got a couple horror prints and stuff that I'll bring some to Celebration that you guys can have or whatever like that. I'm not really trying to make a bunch of money on art anymore. If people show that they want artwork from me, awesome. I can get back into that and we can make some stuff. Like I drew the World Class Bullshitters Grand Theft Auto shirt and poster. And you can see my work everywhere. I design all the title cards by hand. That's all me. But I don't currently have anywhere to buy my art because I don't really have any art backed up anymore. Paul, I'll be honest, I don't really care if they do the original cut because I'm very content with 90% of the special edition. Really, if they could cut out the Jabba the Hutt scene, if somebody could edit me a 1080p rip without any gaps of basically Star Wars, the Blu-ray cut, and you take out the Jabba the Hutt scene, I'd pretty much love you forever. Like that would be very happy. That'd make me very happy. One thing for your slideshow content while talking and nothing to broadcast. Image search, favorite movie posters, drag and drop folder, quick type next movie name. Okay. Ray versus Razor Fist. Razor Fist. Contacted him. Haven't heard back yet, but we'll find out about Razor Fist joining the High Council soon. Ray versus Doomcock. Doomcock every day. Abomino says, I just wanted to say thanks for reading some of my comments. I'm poor as hell right now. Or I'd give you super chat. I appreciate the that you would do it in the first place. Guys, good morning, pop culture. Look, it's great to do the super chat stuff. It really helps the channel grow. I'm not going to lie. This is a full-time thing now, and I have a life that you need money for, but I'm not going to stroke you guys for bucks just to get my attention. Somebody in the chat yesterday was going on about it. I've never treated the show like that. So, Abomino, I'm glad that you would consider it, and down the road, awesome, cool. But a lot of people are really helping us out, so everybody wins in that aspect. When Ryan Johnson dies, his baby is sent into space. Does his head become nowhere from the MCU? Maybe. Thank you, D. Pensack, for the compliment on the High Council. It was extremely enjoyable. Well, guys, I appreciate everyone that watched and everyone that has a nice thing to say about it. The High Council is really becoming my favorite part of the week. I still love World Class Bullshitters. I still love doing the single videos. Actually, yesterday, as I was sitting down to work on my one about the Scott Mendelson article, I had this sense of calm come over me because I'm like, finally, I'm back to the writing aspect of it and the producing. And I have so much fun making content for the channel. I think that's why we're able to put out as much as we do consistently, and I don't think the quality has really dipped. I think it's because I enjoy it so much. So Thank you. What's up to you too, Jordan Cherry? Centurion Rex, what does my art inspire from? Well, I'll give you my quick background. The first Spider-Man movie is what drew me into wanting to draw professionally. As a kid, I would draw all the time. You know, all little kids do. I have notebooks full of Power Rangers and stuff. Even on my DeviantArt, I think I have a Power Ranger I drew like 25 years ago now. Jesus, I feel old and I'm still in my 20s. But my point is, I was always into art as a kid. But when that first Spider-Man movie came out, I don't know what it was, but I was so excited. And I wanted to draw and I wanted to do my own thing, be a part of the whole thing. So I got How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, and that inspired me. And then other artists I am inspired by are like John Romita. I like realism, but I also like that clean aesthetic. I don't like the sketchy art. I don't like a Bill Sienkiewicz. I think he's cool to look at, but that's not somebody I aspire to be like. Like a John Romita, John Buscema. I like power. I like simplicity. I like clean lines, but I also like realism. A guy like an Alex Toth, or Toth, however you pronounce it, because I knew somebody in real life who had the last name of Toth. If you know who that is, that's the kind of person I aspire to be like. I like the thick, bold lines. I like a realistic dimensions in terms of anatomy, but some animated expressions to set it over the top. That's kind of what you guys are going to get from me, my homage to that. Oh, the action figures made by Bandai Namco. Okay. Yeah, I heard that King of the Hill was in talks to come back, but it ain't happening. That's sad. Curmudgeon, the best way to get in contact with me would probably be email, worldclassbs@mail.com, thebestmail.com. I try to answer those emails 2 to 3 times a week. I can't promise every day I'll be reading your emails. If it's an emergency, join our Facebook page and tag me in it. I'll see it that way, and other people will see it, and that way they can get word back to me. So if you need me in an emergency, Facebook. But if you want something a little longer and more personal and, quite frankly, private, email. I will get to that. Yeah, Andrew, I don't like the Anakin Force Ghost either. Um, it just depends. Not even just depends. I want the 97 cut of Return of the Jedi. Well, I don't even want the 97 cut. I want the original Return of the Jedi with just the celebration music from 97. I hate Yub Nub. I don't care if everyone stopped watching. I hate Yub Nub. It's a terrible song. I don't care if the rhythm of the dance matches it. Doesn't matter to me. The celebration theme is one of the best pieces of music created for Star Wars. Yes, Tippy Tail McKitty, you do. Dio Brando, I loved Daria, but I'm not excited for Daria to come back as they've announced. It was cool as a kid. Part of me as a kid liked that weird nihilistic worldview. I found that funny. I seem to like people like that, but ever since I reached a certain age and stopped hanging out with people like that, things have gotten a lot better. So Daria is, to me, is a blueprint for how not to be. Bay UK, writing a song about Kennedy, what would you want in it? Witty dialogue or witty lyrics, Bay UK. First off, thank you very much for your super chat. But witty dialogue or witty lyrics, an interesting beat. A trick would be repetition. If you come with a catchy hook, people will find your song. And thank you, Net Cyber. I appreciate that. Marvel fatigue is coming. Yeah, it's coming, guys. It's coming. If you think the comics are bad, wait till that happens on a full-scale assault with the SJW MCU. Those 6 letters strike fear into my heart. You guys know how bad it is when you see Rose, Tico, and Ray figures just scattered about all over the world in stacks and stacks. Wait till you have stacks and stacks of 6-inch Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, all those figures. They're going to flood the market. They're going to try to look at, kids aren't racist or sexist. They're just little kids. They want to, do their most basic functions, eat, sleep, shit, and play with toys. Let them be. If they don't want Captain Marvel, they don't want Captain Marvel. I'm not going to buy it because I don't like the character. Oh, Jeff, you don't like female action figures? Well, I got Princess Leia. I like Rogue, Storm. I'm going to get the new Psylocke. So anyone that says it to me, go fuck yourself. And yes, Dr. Otto Van Doofus, Alex Toth did do Space Ghost. I love Space Ghost. And Coast to Coast is great too. We have another super chat from Alpha Terra Nima. Thank you very much. Ray versus the entire fan entry section on the SCP wiki. Oh, come on, fans. Anyone but Ray. Come on, ABR. That should be my t-shirt. ABR, anyone but Ray. I'll wear it at Celebration and see if anyone notices me. Yes, System Error. I love David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One. That's another style of art that I really like. I like the realistic yet animated look, the cartooniness of certain things, but I love that illustrative line. It all really boils back to my love of John Romita, and as the older I get, I'm looking back even further to a guy named Milton Caniff. If you don't know who he is, obviously you don't, but go check him out. His art was ahead of his time. Eon Flux is awesome. I like the cartoon. Movie, not so much. But yeah, I like Eon Flux. I like Liquid Television. I'm not really artsy-fartsy, but experimental animation really interests me. I could watch Liquid Television. Actually, I have watched Liquid Television for hours on end. Some days when I would draw, I'd take a break and I'd watch that, look for inspiration to get my, the creative juices flowing. I haven't seen Star Wars Revisited, no. But back to that Ray thing. Man, Ray... Yeah, there's nobody in history that I would want Ray to beat. Not a single person, real or fake. Ray versus Vlad the Impaler. Come on, Vlad. Ray versus the T-Rex that ate whatever. Come on, T-Rex. I don't like Ray. Ray is terrible. American Trent, how did the Patreon hangout go after you left early? Well, Trent, I wish you would have stayed because there was a lot of stuff I wanted to talk to you about personally, but that's cool. You had work. You had to get up. It went fine. I actually logged off and let those guys talk for hours. I had to go to bed for this. I figured, really, the Patreon hangout is for you guys. It's not really for me. I don't really say too much. I know people in the chat are like, "Why aren't you talking? Why aren't you talking?" Well, guys, it's like a thank you for those who have supported us on Patreon. I just want to give you guys the platform and the ability to find each other and entertain yourselves, and hopefully it'll inspire you to create your own channels and inspire you to start a podcast or something like that. So Trent, I'm glad you were there in the first place. Can't wait to have you on to talk about our pop culture discussions, so our memorabilia discussions. Bay UK, thank you very much. Ray versus Kathleen Kennedy, who would you want to win? Well, technically, you just said KK. It could be anybody. It could be Ken Kennedy from the WWE. So I'm going to lie and say KK. Yeah. Here's the thing. Kathleen Kennedy, I didn't say that they both have to survive. Kathleen Kennedy could fight Ray and win, and then in her dying breath, give a finger and then fall over dead. So that's the ideal situation for that fight. I don't have a favorite Eon Flux short. I just remember the one where she dies in most of them, right? Like, dies at the end of them. I just remember the art style. That's the guy that did Phantom 2049. So I can't call myself an Eon Flux fan to a point where I know all the episodes and the endings, but I know there's a weird one where she dies in like a ventilation shaft or something in like a weird space hotel or building. I don't remember. I don't want to lie to you and tell you I do. Dio Brando, thank you very much for your generous super chat. Fox was actually in talks of bringing back King of the Hill with Mike Judge last year. They couldn't really come up with a set date, and then Tom Petty died. With the Disney merger, it's canned completely. Well, yes, probably. I think you could get away with Tom Petty because I don't think Lucky Kleinschmidt was that integral to the story. Actually, I hate Lucky. Lucky was when the show started to jump the shark. I was always more interested in everyone else, and then Lucky took up a lot of time because it's Tom Petty. And Tom Petty was a big A-list celebrity who made good music. Some songs were great, like Running Down a Dream. But you could have written him out as... Because Brittany Murphy's dead too, let's not forget. So Lucky and Luann are dead in real life. The actors that voiced them, you could just write them off the show. They moved to Houston. They moved to Oklahoma. If you want to make it blasphemous, every time they talk about them, Hank will say, don't bring them up, because the whole Texas-Oklahoma rivalry. You could have written them out of the story instantly like that, and I just, I freeformed it for you guys. But I think with Disney owning it all soon, that's the big problem, because King of the Hill has a conservative slant to it in a way. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but I also think King of the Hill was bigger than that. Hank Hill, the character, was, conservative, but the show wasn't. In many ways, it was how he could come out of his comfort zone and grow. You know, there were when he went from boxers to briefs or whatever. There were just certain things that Hank Hill was. Hank Hill was a man that we kind of could use on TV again. I'll say it again. Hank Hill is interesting. Hank Hill's funny. I love King of the Hill. You want to ask me about favorite episodes? So many episodes. My Bugabego. I love the Stick Tech one. I just love King of the Hill. Dale was my favorite character. Such a great show. Now, Dio Brando, tell me if you thought that King of the Hill coming back would interest you. Let's not worry about that. It's not happening. What would you have been interested? I think more people would have watched it than they realize. Marvel Legends 3 is good. Check it out. X-Men Marvel Legends 3. Is that the one with Wolverine, Centurion Rex? Because I pre-ordered myself a Wolverine. I wanted to get the whole case, but I couldn't justify spending that right now. Like, there are things I need to do for the channel. Like, I got a new microphone. I hope I sound better to you guys. I have, atmospheric stuff I can't control right now, but I did get a new microphone to sound better. So it's either new microphone or case of Marvel Legends figures, and I went microphone because I love Marvel Legends, but I can get a Wolverine, no problem, but justifying buying all those characters, but I do want to get most of them because I want the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure, and I want to get the new series coming out with Omega Red. I just want to basically build a 90s Jim Lee X-Men shrine in action figure format. Army Vet. Have I ever appreciated the Matrix anime? Oh, Enter the No. Animatrix? I think I've seen it. I can't remember it enough to give you guys a thing. Ray versus Perpetual Diarrhea. I'll go with Perpetual Diarrhea because you can rehydrate your body, and it's still easier to deal with than The Force Awakens and Ray. There's new Eon Flux. Awesome. Hank Hill is not as good as Tim the Toolman Taylor. True. Tim the Toolman Taylor is my favorite TV dad. If I had to have a TV dad, it would be him or Uncle Phil. Why? Because Uncle Phil's rich as hell, and his kids have cool lives. But Tim the Toolman Taylor was a very hands-on dad, and there were a lot of really good themes presented in King of the Hill and Home Improvement that I liked. So yeah, Tim the Toolman Taylor was awesome. Nothing but respect for him. I'll check out a new Eon Flux if it's cool. Don't put Wolverine in the yellow suit. Oh, you don't want the yellow and brown? That's the Wolverine I want to see. Tartuffe, the Spry Wonder Dog. Yeah, I love that episode too. Oh, man. Brock Butler, thank you again. I appreciate all you've done this morning. The elimination of Yub Nub was okay with me, but what they did to the music of Sice Noodles in Jabba's Palace made the special edition of Return of the Jedi almost unbearable. Yes, I don't like the new Jedi Rock song. I prefer Lopty Neck. I actually have it on my phone. As embarrassing as that is to admit to you guys, I like that song. It's funky. It's fun. It works. I like that one. That's why I recanted on saying I want the 97 cut of Return of the Jedi. I want the 83 up until you get to the Battle of Endor. And then you bring in the 97 or the 97, because I don't want the no. I hate that. I knew you guys too hate that. It's oh man. But yeah, I think that's when George Lucas went off the reservation with the CGI and attempted to do more than we were able to do. And the music sucked. I don't like any of that. The Slice Noodle stuff was way better with Lopty Neck. I'll go to bat for that song every day. Okay, Centurion Rex. I was right. That is the right Build-A-Figure wave. I'm excited. X-Men was my shit as a kid. So was Spider-Man. Until they release high-end action figures of the X-Men, the Marvel Legends are where it's at for now. And in many ways, the Marvel Legends action figures are kind of the best thing on the market, the mass market you can get. They've increased the quality, the sculpts, the paint, the digital face printing on the Black Panther figures is really second to none. So I got nothing but respect for Hasbro's Marvel brand. The Star Wars brand can go fuck itself. Justice for Yub Nub. I'm sorry, Jeff. Other Jeff. I love you to death, but no. A lot of love for Uncle Phil. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Don't forget Al Bundy. You know what's funny? If they brought back Married with Children. Oh, that's a Fox show, and that's over at Disney now, too. Fuck. Like, I was gonna say Al Bundy would be awesome. I go back and watch those Al Bundy insults. That shit would never fly on TV, but it's so funny. I think because it's so culturally inappropriate or politically incorrect, that it's funny. And if you could find a show like that to get a wide audience at the right time, and you really made people laugh like that, you could have had something great. Like Roseanne, she messed up at the worst time. Had her show gone on longer, you could have had a lot more stuff like that come back. You could have said it could have been, advertised under the guise of, hey, we're bringing back a classic show, but then you could have had something that appeals to other demographics. And, money speaks louder than every blue-haired loser, male or female, on the internet. Can we have Ray's figure being held by random figures in your collection during Good Morning Pop Culture? I can do that. That would be really easy. All I got to do is point my camera towards the shelf and do that. So if you guys want that to happen, press F. And then if you remind me tomorrow, Raven Heartless, I will do that. Hold on, not tomorrow. Let me get a USB hub first because I use a scroll mouse. And if I don't have it, I got to use the touchpad on my laptop. And that would be a lot of problems for me. But once I get my USB hub, which I'm going to order today, you remind me, and then I'll do it. They made fun of Home Improvement with an episode of Last Man Standing. I actually brought in the other characters from Home Improvement. Huh, I did not know that. I'll have to check that out. I've heard about that show, but it's I haven't seen it yet. Bay UK, thank you very much for super chat. Ray should KK in a burning house like Frankenstein. Except I actually had sympathy for Frankenstein's monster at the end. I don't have sympathy for either of those characters. Midnight Cherry TV. Is Bebe's Kids or the PJs now Disney properties? Oh shit, I forgot about that. Probably. And Bebe's Kids was something I liked as a kid because it was a cartoon, but it cussed, so you shouldn't watch it, but you do. Kind of like how I feel like I'm getting away with something cool. And then I used to watch the PJs quite regularly. That was on when I was in the 4th grade. So I would watch the PJs, was it Wednesdays or Tuesday nights at 8 p.m.? I had to go to bed at like 9 as a kid, so I didn't get to stay up too late. But I watched the PJs regularly. And I wouldn't be surprised if they brought something like that back. That wouldn't surprise me. The fat chick jokes alone would get him banned today. Yeah, but you know what? Comedy's comedy. I don't care if someone's feelings get hurt. If it's funny, it's funny. A lot of Fs. Okay. Well, we can do our Ray's Head of the Day action figure series coming up. Let me get that USB hub and you got it. American Trent 421. Check out Mezco figures, Wolverine, Punisher, etc. Well, American Trent 421, I do check out Mezco figures. I tried to get that Punisher that went live yesterday, sold out, didn't get one, so too late for me. But I did pre-order that Michael Myers, so the Mezco Michael Myers is mine. When it comes out in October, I'm going to get it. Quick detour, because it's the 40th anniversary of Halloween and we have a new movie and we probably won't see many more Halloween movies. If you're a fan of the Michael Myers character, make sure you pick up the shit you can get now, because now is a year where they will put money to license the original Shatner style mask and you'll get merchandise based off the first movie. Mustafa Akkad was dead, but his son Malik Akkad doesn't like to put out money, or he likes to charge a lot, and these license holders won't put out stuff based on the original one because it costs more money. But if you like Halloween, you always get your shit in the movie year and then you buy it, and if it's a little expensive, you deal with it because you're not going to get it again. So I like Mezco's toys. I think they've really upped their game in terms of quality, and I can't wait to get goddamn Michael Myers in my shelf. Actually, I'm never going to take him out of the box. Star Wars Philosophy. What have I missed? Just logged on. Well, Star Wars Philosophy, you missed a really good show this morning, but let me get you caught up to speed real quick. The U.S. Justice Department has approved the Disney/Fox deal. One of the most intriguing stories in entertainment news has been the 21st Century Fox selling most of its assets to the Walt Disney Company. The deal has faced a share of hurdles, most notably Comcast making several counteroffers. Today, one hurdle has been cleared. The United States Justice Department has granted antitrust approval on the condition that Disney sells Fox's 22 regional sports networks. Disney agreed to divest 22 sports networks in order to get regulatory approval after the Justice Department argued the company's purchase Fox's regional sports network could result in higher prices for sports programming on cable. So that's pretty much the main gist of the topic for this morning. But as always on Good Morning Pop Culture, we kind of, free form anything we want to talk about. So if you guys ask questions. Obviously, I read every super chat, so that can help dictate the flow of the show too. But it's been kind of a fun, free morning. We got a little bit of time left, so if you guys got questions, shoot those to me now. It's Thursday, so everyone's excited because tomorrow's Friday. It's the last day of the week in terms of the work week for a lot of people. If next week's the 4th of July, so we're going to be doing it. I can't promise that I'm going to do Good Morning Pop Culture on the 5th of July because it's my mom's birthday. And as you guys know from the show, I'm quite tight with my mom. And now that I'm doing okay, I'm going to take her to breakfast and dinner and do a couple nice things for her. So effective now, Good Morning Pop Culture is canceled on the 5th of July. But don't think that it's canceled as a show because this is now a staple of World Class Bullshitters. One of the pillars the channel is built on. Pillar 1 is the podcast. That's what came first. Pillar 2 are the separate daily videos, mainly Star Wars. Pillar 3 is Good Morning Pop Culture, and Pillar 4 is our watch parties / hangouts with the friends of the channel. So Good Morning Pop Culture isn't going away, but just know that it won't be here on the 5th of July. Charming Curmudgeon says that drawing is your form of meditation. It gets me into a zone and just relaxes and have fun. Well, I'm glad you find that that calming place with drawing. I do too. As when I'm not drawing for money and I have a no deadline, I can really spend like 15 hours drawing something. I love it. Klaus Torek, thank you very much for your super chat. Have you seen that Soul of Chikogan Megazord? Not only have I seen it, it's on its way to my house. I mentioned earlier somebody owed me something from a bet earlier in the year. So that's on its way to my house. That should be here today or tomorrow, Klaus Torek. And you can hear me. I'm excited to talk about it. So if you guys have any interest in me showing it on camera, I'll show it on Good Morning Pop Culture. I'm not taking it out of the box just yet because I got to find a place for it. But I'll show the box on air. It's kind of cool. Like I said, love Power Rangers. Jeff Bartlett, if you get a USB hub, you have to sing Hub Nub. Sure, I'll do that just for you. I'll even get a sticker and call it my Hub Nub. Or my Nub Hub, as you would say. Paul, thanks for using a British accent in your intro. Classy. Best wishes from London. That is my friend Lauren. She's a hot British woman that I met on Chat Roulette years ago. I know that sounds like a crazy way to make a friend. But yeah, we were playing Chat Roulette years ago, and I saw her, and we started talking. We just hit it off. I said, hey, friend me on Facebook. And that was like 7 years ago. We talked on Xbox, and we had a lot of fun. And she's a singer. She's really a good singer, and her career has kind of slowed down because she's been busy with real life. But she's the voice of World Class Bullshitters, and she does bring an air of sophistication and put the class in World Class Bullshitters. So I want to get her on camera one day and have her film an intro for us. We'll figure some stuff like that. Yeah, Army Vet Rod. You can find some of my artwork on Instagram at @TheJeffHicks. That's the best way to look at my more modern stuff. Even if you're not on Instagram, you can look at it without being logged in. And just look up Jeff J. Hicks on DeviantArt. And make sure you're logged in because a few of my things are like age restricted because I drew some naked ladies. But be warned, my stuff on DeviantArt is very dated and old. The only fairly recent thing I've uploaded is that comic book cover and that picture of Spider-Man that I drew over a year ago. So Instagram, Jeff Hicks is the newest way, or the way to see my newest stuff. And you can shoot me a message, and I'll talk back to you. So there you go, Rod. See, super chat from our good friend Brock Butler. Thank you again. A contribution to your mom's birthday. Nothing to ask. Thank you, Brock. I appreciate that. She'll appreciate that too. She's a good lady, and things are going good for us. So I want to make sure that I don't forget Mom. Andrew Falls, did you get that Toys R Us exclusive Legacy Power Ranger Zords? I didn't buy it for myself. You know, it's funny, Andrew, and don't worry, Star Wars Philosophy, I got that. I got your super chat. But Andrew, I wanted to tell you, I saw it at Toys R Us a couple years ago for $30, and I sold it on eBay, and people bid it up to like almost $200. So I didn't like that Megazord because I think it looks like shit. The original Megazord is awesome, and the Soul of Chikogan is my new favorite once it shows up. And I even like the little die-cast one that is about 5 or 6 inches tall. I got that on my shelf. That's currently my favorite one to interact with because it's all one piece, but it's metal and it's cool. Let's see. Star Wars Philosophy, thank you very much for your super chat. Would you be willing to create me an avatar for my Twitch and other accounts? Get in touch and sort out a price. Would be cool to be WCBS artwork. Star Wars Philosophy, find a way to contact me on social media or somewhere where I can respond back easier. I'm not saying no. It's going to be a little bit because I got, building the website and doing a couple other things. So I can't promise anything currently. But down the road, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to doing it at all. So just like I said, keep reminding me. And thank you again. And yeah, I'm honored that you guys would like my artwork as an avatar or something like that. It's funny when I want to be an artist. It's really it's really hard to do. And now that I'm kind of like accepting that it's over, people are like, yeah, do this and do that. And you guys are awesome. You're very accepting of everything I do here on YouTube, and you want to do that. So it's a good feeling. And I just hope that when the comic comes out, we can raise a bunch and get some film rights and make things happen like that. Because I always keep talking about we're the epitome of pop culture. We're changing entertainment. I literally want to do that. So thank you for your interest, and thanks for just like the emotional support. It really pumps me up and keeps me up to do more. Disney will merge with Good Morning Pop Culture. Never, Rugis. That'll never, ever happen. Don't worry. Bradley Fortner says you were 16 when the Power Rangers came out. You thought it was lame. Loved Batman the Animated Series, though. I was 5 years old when the Power Rangers came out. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But you know what? Age is important. I don't think Voltron or Transformers or G.I. Joe hit me emotionally. I respect for what they are, but it just isn't for me. So that's cool. But Batman the Animated Series is so good. Everybody from 10 to 1, from 2 to 92 can enjoy that show. If you're a little kid, you're like, oh, Batman. If you're old, hey, Batman. Batman is so old that people from every generation get it. My grandma likes Batman. A couple years ago, I know this sounds bad to say, but I babysat my grandma because our family, she lives with my uncle. They went out of town. We watched her on vacation because she's old and we don't want to leave her alone. And one day I was sitting there and I put on Batman, and my grandma watched the entire movie, didn't even complain or say anything. She's like, oh, Batman, blah, blah, blah. She was really into it. Batman kind of appeals to everybody. Abomino24601, thank you for your super chat. And I got your message. This is the first super chat I've ever given. Thanks again, Jeff, for keeping my mornings entertaining at work. Thank you, Abomino. I'm not going to stop doing the show anytime soon, guys, so make sure you tell everyone about Good Morning Pop Culture. I like getting up early, and I like doing the show. It gives me an excuse to drink a bunch of coffee and talk about stuff. So thank you, guys. Soul of Chicagoan. Amaron, I looked at your Instagram, Jeff. Good life drawing work on there. I did that a while ago to hone my own drawing. Thank you. Honestly, too, I just like to look at naked ladies and draw them. So it's a win-win for me. I get to draw and look at naked chicks, and I have a reason for it. So if you ever need a reason for it, but maybe I don't. All right, cool, King Eric. I will check that out after I go off air with the show. I'll check out the Facebook page. Ross Skywalker and I are the same age then. You worshiped Power Rangers as well. Dude, there was nothing cooler than when the guitar would hit and after 10,000 years I'm free, it's time to conquer Earth. My God. I watch that show now knowing that it's not that great. I'm never going to tell you guys, oh, it's still the greatest show on TV. I get it. It's what it is. It's corny. It's hokey, but it's fun. And it takes me back to 1993, and I remember how fun it was. It was the first thing that I got into where I had Power Rangers bed sheets, toys, T-shirts, costumes. Didn't have the video game because video games were the one thing that kind of my mom was priced out of. I had a Super Nintendo, but I usually got, like when Mortal Kombat 2 was out, I got Mortal Kombat 1 because it was $20, that type of situation. So I rented Power Rangers games, but I was able to consume Power Rangers all the time. My mom was cool. She'd get up in the morning, tape the show for me, edit out the commercials. Then I would have like a 6-hour tape of Power Ranger episodes and just stuff. Like I consumed it every minute. I am going to Star Wars Celebration. We have our tickets. It was, it was expensive, but it's worth it. I really hope that anyone that's even relatively close to Chicago will consider driving up to hang out. You don't have to get a ticket to the show. I'm not telling you that you need to support Disney or Star Wars, but we would love to have you. I'm in talks with a bar. We're going to have a little host hangout. It's going to be a really good time. So I will be there at Star Wars Celebration for all 5 days. If you're at the show, come find us. We're going to film a little documentary. You can be in it if you'd like. And Jordan, just come find me, my friend. Commander Cody, what kind of coffee do I drink? Well, I'm guilty of just drinking Dunkin' Donuts dark roast, an extra large. And then I had a coupon for Burger King, so I got a breakfast combo, and it came with 2 coffees. So I had 2 cups of BK Joe and a big extra large dark roast from Dunkin' Donuts. Gamepad 31, hello to you too. Darren Copson, I am not watching the England game tonight, but you guys have my support. I'll be doing world-class bullshitters tonight. Well, tonight for you is different than tonight for me. I guess when you guys are playing, I'll be at the gym. So if it's on TV, give you guys a thumbs up. If not, I'm going to be riding today's a cardio day, so I'm going to be watching Beverly Hills Cop on the bike. Let's see. Rick Ray, thank you again. No, it doesn't sound bad. It's what family used to do. Until my grandparents died, we all took turns looking out for them. It's love and respect. Thank you, Rick Ray. I'm tight with my grandma. I always will be. Like I've said on air, I don't mind telling you guys stuff like this. My dad died when I was 6 weeks old. My grandma stepped in. She was like my other parent. So for piano lessons and karate lessons and shit, if my mom worked, my grandma drove me without any complaints. So now that she's older, I definitely do stuff with her. I took her to the doctor on Tuesday, and she always tries to take me to lunch because I drive her to the doctor. But I said, you know what, Grandma, I took her to lunch, and I even bought her a puzzle. She got really mad that I bought her a puzzle. She's like, oh, I have money. I'm spending it on myself, blah, blah, blah. But I took my grandma to lunch and stuff, and it's a good thing. I'm tight with her. I like all my family, but no, I'm not as close with anyone as I am my mom and my grandma. So thank you, Rick Ray. I appreciate that. Captain Power. I've never heard of Captain Power Centurion Rex. I'll have to check that out. Ross, you couldn't decide who you liked more, green or red? I like the Blue Ranger. Blue Ranger made it okay to be a smart kid in my book, but he was kind of lame. I always liked the episodes where he actually kicked ass. Plus, the color blue is my favorite color, so realistically, that went beyond just, hey, I like the Blue Ranger because he's interesting and smart. I just like the color blue, and I always got the Blue Ranger toys first when I could. But as an adult, looking back, I think I like the Red Ranger, Jason, the best because he's the most interesting of the 5, but Tommy the White Ranger might be my ultimate favorite. I'm dying to meet him at a convention one day. I got this picture of me on my fridge dressed in a White Ranger costume. I'm not going to share it on the show, but if I ever do get an autograph by him, then I'll share it on the show. Kevin Burdine, it's the first hurdle has been cleared by Fox or Disney Fox, so it's not antitrust. The government approved it if they break it up and sell off the regional sports network. So we're on our way to do that. Twisted with Morbius, I used to get up early to watch Power Rangers too. You got an episode before school and an episode after school. Now, I was fortunate that I have a late birthday, so I went to school the following year. So 93, 94 during my Power Rangers hype, even 94, 95. Shit. That was kindergarten, sorry. 94, 95 was kindergarten. Kindergarten wasn't even like going to school. But my point is, the first year of Power Rangers, I wasn't in school. It was awesome. All day, every day. Megazord, Dragonzord, Titanus. I had it all. Let's see. Thank you, Rick Ray. Super Smash Bros. Candidates. What style? Or asked me about karate. I took Taekwondo as a kid, so just because of the Power Rangers, that was really it for me. I won 2 state trophies because I was a big kid and I fought and I was able to reach people's heads, so I'd kick them in the head. And much like the Karate Kid, I got points. Actually, my first year in the tournament, I knocked out the state champion of my age group. We were fighting. I don't even know if I was down. I can't act like it was this big struggle, but I remember we were fighting, and then I went for a roundhouse kick and I hit him right in the ear and he went down and I won instantly. So that was cool. I got free food from McDonald's. I remember I brought in the trophy and congratulations, this is what's on the house. So yeah, we promote childhood obesity if you're a karate champion or taekwondo. Kurt Swan was a big inspiration for Charming Curmudgeon's art style. Kurt Swan, I got nothing but respect for Kurt Swan. Too bad his life ended a certain way. That's one thing I will say about a lot of comic book artists. We look back at these movies and these billion-dollar franchises, but the people that created them don't really get the respect they deserve. A lot of them died very quiet, sad deaths, just like Bill Finger. If you guys haven't had a chance to see the documentary Batman and Bill, or Bill and Batman, I don't remember who came first, but watch it. It's incredible. It came out, I think it was last Father's Day. I got up early in the morning and I watched that shit religiously. It was fantastic. And you learn a lot about Batman, and it's a really good story. Andrew Dale liked the Green Ranger. He was cool. I got a Green Ranger statue coming. It was really cheap, so I'm excited for that. I just love me some Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Plus, this is the 25th anniversary of that show, so I expect some interesting news to come out of Comic-Con, especially since Hasbro purchased the brand. Yeah, I didn't see Jeremy's video about Ivan getting all the donations for going to Star Wars Celebration. I wish I got some donations to go to Star Wars Celebration. That was $1,200 to get tickets for the show. But, that's okay, guys. Things are working out great, so I can't really bitch about that. Did I watch Kirkman's Secret Comic Book History series? I did not, Darren. I did not. Thank you, Army Vet Rod, for your compliment on my artwork. So, guys, yeah, I'm already going. I have the tickets. I bought them the minute they went live. I told you guys we were going to go. Even more than just the High Council being there, all the world-class bullshitters are going to be there, including channel dad Brian Lake, because we need somebody to film stuff for us. So, if you're a fan of me and the High Council and all the other guys, you'll get Jeff of World-Class Bullshitters, Dion, Nick, and Kendo, as well as channel dad Brian Lake, EVS, and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. I don't know who else is going to be there. Probably Jesse Milestone. Yeah, that's her name. I almost said Jesse something else. No, Jesse Outlaw. No, Jesse Milestone. Jesse Outlaw, somebody else. But yes, I'm going. I paid for the tickets. I have the confirmation on my Google account. Except for Star Wars Celebration, what's the most you've ever paid for a concert? I go to WrestleMania every year. That's my birthday present from my mom. Our tickets are about $300 a pop. So WrestleMania tickets every year. That's my big thing, my big luxury. I saved all my money, and I always would go to WrestleMania. So I've been to the last 13. So if you're ever in a city that's hosting WrestleMania, like this year, it's in the New York, New Jersey area. If you're in that area and you message us, we'll all be there, and we'll get together and have a dinner. So, guys, it's looking like it's past 10 o'clock. The numbers are still here, but I got some stuff I got to work on today. So, folks, thank you for sticking with me every morning here on World Class Bullshitters for Good Morning Pop Culture. I appreciate that you guys have spent your mornings with me for the last, going on 3 weeks now. And because of the positivity, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. You need to get Dion passed out snoring on video. I have audio of Nick snoring. It's awesome. I have pictures of Dion passed out on my Facebook. I don't know if my Facebook's private or not, but I'll tell this story before I go off air. I spiked Dion's drink when we went to Florida for WrestleMania, and I didn't really spike it. We were all drinking. Basically, he's like, make me a mixed drink. I didn't even do anything against the law. He's like, make me a mixed drink. I made him one that was mostly Everclear with a little bit of mixer in it. He drank it down. I drank one down. They did it to me, too. I'll tell that story another night. But Dion just passed out and fell asleep, and then woke up, and all was good. But that was that. I have pictures of Dion passed out from drinking too much. Dion's a lot of fun. There's a reason he's my best friend. So thank you, Kevithar1138, for loving this channel. We love you right back. And we will be, speaking of back, we'll be right back in just a few for tonight. World Class Bullshitters episode, I think it's 129. So tonight's show is a very special show. And by the way, we're going to start playing a game starting next week. So make sure that you're subscribed, you have your notifications on, and you're there in the beginning for the live show, because starting next week we got a game. But tonight, let me give you guys a quick preview. Our friend Gregory Harlow, who's a patron, has suggested a topic that we discuss. By the way, if you're a patron of multiple levels, you can ask questions to be read on the show. So there are hundreds of you guys over on Patreon, and only a few people ask the questions. So we owe you that. So please ask away. I'd love to read them on air. But we're going to be talking about regular music and movies tonight as a side topic. And we're also going to be bringing back the great pop culture debate. So if you're a fan of the earlier episodes of World Class Bullshitters, we used to have a segment called The Great Pop Culture Debate, where every week we would try to mirror movie fights. Then I got disillusioned with movie fights, and the other guys wouldn't do their work, so I said, fuck it. So we got rid of the Great Pop Culture Debate. But the Great Pop Culture Debate's coming back tonight because our good friend Tap and Die requested it. So tonight, Dion and I are going to be debating with Nick and Kendo as moderators, and we're going to be debating Crockett and Tubbs versus Riggs and Murtaugh. Who's the better duo? So I got Crockett and Tubbs. Dion has Riggs and Murtaugh. So if you guys are fans of movie cops or TV cops, it's going to be intense. But that is not the main feature of tonight's show. We're going to be talking about all things on the Star Wars situation. We're going to be talking about the Disney-Fox merger, as well as a few other things. So, as always, world-class bullshit is the epitome of pop culture, and you don't want to miss out. So thank you to everyone that's wishing me well and having a good day. Monty Dean, I will fight Rey any day of the week. She's a very small lady. She's also not real, so I would win. Thumbs down The Last Jedi on Netflix. I'm just not going to watch it. I think I may have already thumbs it down, but I can't tell you guys what to do because that would be disingenuous. You got to make your own decisions in life. So, folks, thank you for watching. I'll be back in just a few short hours. I'm going to get to work on that next video in just a minute. So, this has been Good Morning Pop Culture. I've been your host, Jeff Hicks, and I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel.